What does it mean to be a champion? Tonight, 15 hopefuls will enter the modern day Colosseum and put it on the line to call himself the primetime Xbox champion. But for the current, reigning, defending champion, BFAP Trixie, 16th competitor in the Grand Prix, for him, it's different. It's more than hearing and still for BFAP Trixie. It's about cementing himself as the most dominant force in history. At the end of the night, Cyrus Mooney will wrap the championship around the waist of one of these fights. One final time. And that man has earned the right to call himself the Xbox champion, primetime MMA. Welcome to the Colosseum. Welcome to the Arena of Gladiators. But most importantly, welcome to primetime.
What is good, everybody? It is the Primetime Grand Prix Season 3 of the Xbox division. I am your host, Cyrus the Looney. With me in the comms booth here this evening is the one and only Mr. Humbledimp. How you doing, my man? Sure hyped after that amazing intro over there from Doctor, of course, in the back.
Oh my god. Welcome to Primetime, everyone. I am so excited for this. It's the Xbox Grand Prix. We have some incredible fights in front of us right now, Cyrus, and I cannot wait. There's going to be just absolute banger after banger after banger, and we're going to have the champion fight 3 times, or a champion fight 3 times. I can't wait. What do you make of this whole build-up from the season? All for the best guys, all to get into this tournament, they're all fighting tonight. What do you make of that?
Honestly, man, it is absolutely fantastic. Every single season that we kick off, of course, whether it be the Xbox side and the PlayStation side, we go in with these Grand Prix, and year after year, Humble, it continues to get better. Where the roster is currently at on the Xbox side is something to behold. These guys, all kind of 16 of these, and to be honest with you, probably about 6 or 7 names that unfortunately weren't able to make it in it because, of course, restrictive numbers. All deserve to be in this tournament, Humble. Every single one of these guys are absolute killers. From, like you say, from Fadinator and Toasty Toes in the very, very first fight of the evening, BFAP Trixie and Kezra on the opposite side had a massive battle back in Season 2 Grand Prix. And of course, like Pudgy Camtown Finest, so on and so forth. Too many names to mention at this very point, but I'm sure there's a couple of fights to stand out to yourself as well there, my man.
Oh my god, you didn't say it enough. You didn't absolutely say it enough. Pudgy. Pudgy this season has been absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe it when I seen the poll. He was down there with 4 votes. Let's put this in perspective. Fadinator got 20 votes and Trixie got 11. So most people in this tournament think the favourite is Fadinator, even though Trixie's beat him in every fight they've had in prime time. How insane is that? That is absolutely incredible. The support that man gets is unfathomable, and this is like the lightweight division in the UFC. Every single person in this fight is absolutely in this tournament is absolutely incredible. And then we had 6 or 7 more of them who all wanted to get in, and we couldn't let every single person in. It's guttering because they've done so well over the season, but unfortunately, due to the rankings, every single person from the rankings signed apart from one member because he's busy. And wow, what a lineup we have! And guess what? Every one of them have turned up as well. Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah, it is craziness, my man, but that's exactly what I would expect, especially on the Xbox side now at this stage. These guys have been running with us for, 3 or so years in some cases there, mate, and, like I said, time after time, they continue to deliver. They're always on point, and, with that kind of all being said, I think it's about time that we get into the very first fight of the evening, Humble. Going to be Fadinator up against the ever-dangerous TMF Toasty Toes. Said that he's got something up his sleeve for Fadinator here this evening. I think that he's going to kind of have to dig deep in order to kind of take it to a guy that's been maybe not able to get that championship belt from Trixie so far in the past there, Humble, but he has been biting at the bits. Very, very competitive fights, some of the best fights that we've seen in primetime history, and it's kind of always been at that top echelon, so this is a great test for Toasty Toes in that very opening going, and I'm interested to see if he's able to rise to the occasion here up against the dangerous Fadinator.
Yeah, 100%, and like you said, this is going to tell you everybody tonight if Fadinator's on a mission. He wants to meet Trixie in the final and beat him. That is his goal. That is his intention tonight. He's going to try and run through every single person. He needs to look dominant. And when he gets to that final, he's had 4 warm-ups beforehand to get there and try and beat Trixie. So, and who stopped him so far, Cyrus, in the season? Absolutely no one apart from Trixie. He's not got beat by anyone apart from Trixie. So the guys who are in this side of the bracket have to worry about Fadinator at the moment, and Toasty Toes is up first. So we'll see how he does. We'll see how confident he is. And if he wins, that's going to be insane. What an upset if Toasty Toes wins.
No, exactly right, my man, exactly right. So a lot of these guys are based on a seeding basis. Of course, Fadnator towards the upper end of the rankings, and Toasty Toes kind of breaching that top 10 sort of margin, I do believe. But yeah, no, it's going to make an interesting bout, especially in the middleweight division. And of course, something that we haven't even mentioned here, Humble, is that every single fight that isn't a title fight, which is of course currently starting with Trixie and Keza, since he was the champion of last season, is actually going to be 4-star fighters only. So not 4.5, not 5-star. That is 4-star fighters only. And as a result, we're seeing Lawler up against Cannonier. I think this is going to be an incredible fight. Both guys have heavy hands out here, Humble, and it's not going to take too many shots for one of these guys to be able to pot the other out.
I was literally sparring with Ginger just before this move, playing Robbie Lawler versus Cannonier. So I've literally just played this matchup, and this is an absolute banger. Cannonier's got some incredible power. It can put your outlights out, and what that does is it allows you to take a few shots to give one back. So Robbie Lawler's got to be careful in this one, because the power, I believe, is 98 from Toasty, but he's come out firing. Fadinator has just knocked him down with Robbie Lawler, and now he's going to try and finish him, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, Fadnator, I wouldn't put it past him, but the reversal is on for Toasty Toes, able to get top mount, and now this is a pretty dangerous position for the former champ. Oh my God.
Toasty with some absolute boomers to the face right there. He pushes up from mount again, and this could be his opportunity right now to really land some damage onto Fadinator, and Fadinator gets back to his feet like the champion he was.
Yes, for sure. I mean, he is definitely going to come in, dialed in for this one, Humble. He has the opportunity. He decides he wants to take it by the scruff of the neck. Brother, that was a fantastic knockout. Picture perfect, straight on the button. Robbie Lawler gets it again.
I can't believe that. That was insane. That was like, we talked about a statement. We said Fadinator's going to come out and he's going to try and put a statement on. I didn't think he was going to put that much of a statement on. That was insane. And he gets the finish in first round, and he moves to the next round. That was quick, Cyrus. That was quick. We're on the next fight already. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great performance, of course, from the former champion. He looked absolutely fantastic here this evening. For somebody like Toasty Toes, I think he should hold his head high. This is a man that, quite literally has been, if not champion second the entire kind of time, or within that top 3 sort of talking. So a very, very tough opponent to come up against, especially in the first stage of the tournament. Hold his head high. I'm sure we'll see him back better than ever. But for right now, my man, we see Fadnator moving on one step in the Xbox Grand Prix Season 3 to kick us off. Sure, he's going to be very happy about getting that W, of course. And it takes us on to KM Caliber up against TMF Ginger. 2 very dangerous men. I know them quite well myself, but I mean, especially with Ginger, you said that you'd just been sparring with him. How about you lead us into a little bit of information on Ginger, bro?
Yeah, he's got a PlayStation recently, so he wanted to get some spars in, and he did earlier on against me, and it was very, very good. Surprised me. He's got some nice combinations. Very, very good combinations, and if they land, they do incredibly amount of damage. Sorry, Ginger has been on a tear throughout this through the Xbox division. He hasn't quite reached that where he's beaten the top guys yet, not like mixing it up with those guys quite yet, but he's beat everyone below him, so he's moved right up, and he's going to be fighting a really tough prospect in Caliber. And Caliber was one of the guys that impressed me the most throughout the Xbox division. Through getting to know this division, I've seen Caliber as an absolute killer, and this is going to be a tough fight for Ginger.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Both very, very dangerous, well-rounded guys. Both of them actually bring some really, really nice striking and defensive movement to the game as a whole. But I think that one of the things that I'm going to try and keep an eye out on this one is maybe KM Caliber's feints that he uses in terms of the takedown feints. He's a guy that mixes them in really, really well, Humble. A lot of people, even when they do attempt it, maybe don't do it as well as somebody like KM Caliber. I expect him to come out and you try and utilize that quite heavily. And then, of course, on the reverse, Ginger has some fantastic offense. His head movement is on another level, and when he's able to turn up to a fight, he can quite often just turn his opponent's lights out on a moment's notice.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. That's what we're looking for, right? Ginger's going to try and come out there and get the knockout, and he is Cannonier, and his Cannonier is very, very good. I'm wondering if Caliber is ready. He seems to not pick this character yet, but you can see the 2-1 record there. That doesn't really mean much as well, Cyrus. People looking at that a bit too much sometimes.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't actually talk about, actually we'll talk about after this fight, doesn't matter. Cannonier versus Gastelum. What do you reckon of that?
I mean, look, obviously Cannonier has a little bit more of a kind of, not just kind of purely kick oriented, but he has a lot more kicks at his disposal. I think you'd agree. And then, of course, has very, very heavy hands. I've always thought that the boxing, especially in UFC 4 Humble, is a little bit underrated for Kevin Gastelum. He has some fantastic hands. That height can kind of play to your favor at times as well, because he's a little bit on the smaller end of the equation when it comes to middleweight fighters. But enough of that, my man. They are straight to it in the very first round.
Yeah, they definitely are. And Cannonier coming out, trying to take the centre of the octagon, which Ginger likes to do. He likes to get in his opponent's face. Sometimes I found Ginger, he would overexert himself maybe in the first round, try to get the finish a bit too early and not be patient enough. But he likes to land damage, and he likes to land early, as you can see. Him pouring at his opponent right there, pushing him back behind that black line. And this is where, that fight can be controlled, Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly right. You can force your opponent behind those lines, and that's when they a lot of the time make mistakes. But KM Caliber, a veteran in his own right, able to get a lot of nice head movement off there, and obviously gets the reversal up against the cage. This is a nice kind of a mix-up of techniques right now, and the body work is absolutely on point, brother.
Yeah, we've seen Ginger go forward and try and land some shots, and then Caliber's now answering, coming back. A bit of a back and forth at the moment, but nice work right there from Gastelum. Caliber's starting to warm himself into the fight, and that's what Ginger's got to be careful. You either don't let him into the fight at all, or you've got to play the same game and patient. And at the moment, Ginger's not been aggressive enough, in my opinion, even though sometimes it does cost him. It's a 3-round fight, and I think he can go at that pace for 3 rounds. He's smart enough to do so.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the thing is going to be choosing your engagements. And against somebody like Caliber, I think that stamina preservation is a must. A lot of kicks to the head so far, but he seems to be doing pretty well in terms of managing that. Due to his defense, funnily enough, he's actually doing a really good job of blocking a lot of the bigger shots coming his way.
Nice work right there. Yeah, he is. And that's kind of the key. The defensive movement as well from Caliber is very, very nice. Ginger is landing though, and we've got to go back to the fact that Gerard Cannonier has that 98 power. You can put anybody's lights out if he hits them once or twice, so you've got to be careful. But Ginger's got to land them shots as he gets rocked back right now, and Caliber is going to try and hunt down his opponent. He's got an opportunity to knock him down, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, these KM boys, they have some killer instinct. When they've got you hurt, they know how to switch it up. In this situation, Caliber, kind of recognized that maybe he wasn't going to get his opponent to be knocked out, so I think that takedown was perfectly timed, Humble, and puts him in a really good spot to close out round 1, especially if he's able to continue some of that momentum and get some more ground and pound off.
Yeah, definitely. He seems to be just taking over slightly in this fight. Ginger's going to have to come up with some new tactics, maybe a bit of an adjustment. We always talk about adjustments on Primetime. One of the number one things that the best players in the world do is constantly adjust throughout the fight. You won't see them fight one fight. And that's the question Ginger's got to face at the moment going into the second round, Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly right. He's a kid that's been able to do it in the past. He trains with some of the better fighters around. But right now, this ground and pound from KM Caliber is sensational. Trying to make you all remember, if you forgot, he is a savage no matter where the fight goes, and had a really, really strong opening round there.
Yeah, and I like the ground and pound and the work on the ground at the end of that round, because not many people are doing a lot of ground and pound in so far in the divisions. You've barely got anyone kind of doing that, and when you've got all the assets, when you can do it all, that just gives you that little bit of an edge. If the fight's kind of not swinging your way, you've got another option.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you ignore potential advantages you may have in the fight? And KM Caliber, once again, trains with some guys that really like to mix it up. And as you saw right there, that single leg, I actually believe was a feint. I could be wrong, but I think it's a feint from him. He does it all the time, continually tries to go for that single leg feint, and it's not even to get an engagement, it's just to get somebody to open up a little bit and then come back over with some very, very clean boxing, which is kind of a staple of a lot of those guys over there.
Yeah, Caliber is baiting his opponent right now. He's trying to get Ginger I can't say his name anymore, Ginger, to overcommit, and then he's going to try and punish him with those heavy shots. He's already done so, and if he gets him down on the ground, he's going to have the chance to try and hurt him on the ground with a ground and pound as well. But beautiful boxing right now from Caliber.
Yes, sir. You see him land a couple of shots instantly, moves his head or gets off the center line, trying to evade some of those returning strikes of Cannonier. And then, of course, just the mix-up back to the bodies are absolutely beautiful. There's not rule, of course, Ginger out. He's still looking pretty good in terms of stamina, but an uphill battle, I think you'd agree. they, just in terms of the momentum thus far in the first and second round, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. He's done a fantastic job of just constantly outlanding his opponent, giving him looks over and over again. He has not given him a second to kind of breathe with what he's going to do. He's pretending he's going to do something. He's feinting to do something. His movement is telling you he's going to do something else. And then when you're about to attack, when you second guess yourself, that's when he strikes. That's when he hits you. And that's what Ginger's struggling with at the moment. But again, he's got that one-shot power. You can't take that away. If Ginger hurts him at any point in this fight, it could be over.
Yeah, exactly right. And once again, like I said about the KM boys having that killer instinct, those TMF boys most certainly do as well, Humble. When they've got you hurt, they've got some very creative options to get you out of the cage, but just having a little bit of an issue right now. That defense and the boxing from Gastelum, aka KM Caliber, is sensational here this evening. I mean, just look at the work he is able to get off. It's very, very clean, bro. Very clean.
Beautiful. Yeah, Ginger's really struggling with his entry, and every time he does, he gets caught, but he catches him there and doesn't quite land enough. But he's trying to go in with his boxing. He's trying to walk his way into punches and kicks and head movement, and he's walking himself into tons of different looks. What he's got to do, he's got to work his way in there, Cyrus. He's not using his jab to get in there. He's not using kicks and then following with punches afterwards, and that's why the Caliber's having such a good exchange and just keeping him at distance at all times and picking his shots.
Yeah, I completely and utterly agree with you. And just once again, that body work, bro, it's I keep going on about it, but it's just beautiful to behold. Look at it, the hook over and over again, straight into the hook, body rock with the roundhouse, and he's going to go for the finish the fight submission. This could be very close. Not enough time. Scratch that.
Oh, yeah, there's not. Okay. Whoa, that was a great round. That was a fantastic round again. Ginger needs to do something, and I don't know what he needs to do, but he needs to do something, Cyrus. At the moment, that's not kind of working for him. He's trying to walk into the head movement and the movement and the boxing and the feints, and it's just not quite working for him because he's been hesitant when he's about to throw, and when he throws, the guy already knows where he can't hit him. So he needs to have some misdirection in this fight, right? He needs to mix it up. Something needs to come from him because at the moment it's been one-sided, and 2 rounds have gone to his opponent.
See, I don't know if you would agree with this, but I almost feel like he should go full Yoel Ramiro and just look for big explosions. Stamina is pretty equal. If he can get a bit of an advantage and try to utilize some of that big power that Cannonier has in those hands, then that could potentially go to his benefit. But right now, trying to meet him in the middle is getting him caught by the hands of KM Caliber. Excellent takedown defense, but close, bro. He's having a lot of trouble.
He's chain wrestling, and this is Ginger's now going to turn him around, but he's in a bad position because he's going to get his body kneed. Great job of turning to get his back to give himself a bit of a rest there. Might be able to get some shots off right now, but Ginger needs to... Oh, glitch. That didn't happen, everyone. The Matrix just happened there, live on stream. Yeah. Ginger's giving too much space again, and look at the head movement from Caliber. It has been extraordinary.
It really has. This kid has been putting some time in the lab, and it is paying off here this evening. Ginger is trying to give him everything he's got, but Caliber's just too on point. He's going to get the finish in the top mount. 3rd and final round. Oh, bro, I don't know how he's still alive. Some of these shots have just kind of been completely bled through in terms of the block. Landed very, very cleanly, but somehow Ginger's able to survive a little bit longer.
Well, yeah, this is just... like, credit Ginger for standing it for this long, because he's been getting his... I know this feels, by the way, it happened to me last week, and just you feel like you're suffocating. There's nothing you do works. Nothing you can do in this, like he can do in this fight, seems to work for him. I don't know what he's got to do, but he's got to do something. And if he does something, it will be a shock. But looks like at the moment Caliber's going to have his way and finish his opponent in the... There it is.
Do you know
3rd round.
I think that Ginger struggled to get going, but it wasn't due to him. I genuinely believe it was due to KM Caliber really, really turning up on point here this evening, Humble. He looked dialed in, and he may be the dark horse of the entire thing if he continues to replicate performances like that. I don't know who's going to have an answer for him. I mean, that was beautiful.
I'll give you somebody that's got an answer for him. His next opponent, which I believe, is it Fadinator?
Oh, that's right. He's up against Fad in the next round, bro.
Do you know what I mean? This is insane. This is going to be a crazy tournament because Caliber was one of my picks to win this fight, this tournament. He was one of the guys who I'd watched throughout the Xbox. Like I said at the start, I was incredibly impressed with him just because he had it all. He had the wrestling, he had the striking, and he moved his head a lot. He doesn't fight the same with every character as well, so he mixes it up. So every look that you think you've got with him, You don't. There's another look. There's another caliber behind that, and that's why he's so good at what he is. But he's got a tough task next, and that's going to be an incredible fight when it does come up. But the next lot of fights that we've got are also absolutely insane. We're soon going to be seeing a champion fight. Let's say that for one. And one thing we haven't even said, a little bit of an announcement as well. Whoever wins this tournament, I'm going to personally give them £20. PayPal them £20 for winning this tournament, because I've been so impressed with the Xbox division. They've been class, like watching them getting the techniques, different stuff like that. I've absolutely enjoyed it as the commentator and as somebody who's learning prime time. It's just been a blessing to kind of come in and view these guys. So I believe the champion deserves something. So we're going to give him, whoever the champion is at the end of the night, we're going to give him 20 quid.
There you go, Mr. Humble coming in with the 20 bags. We appreciate you, brother, and I'm sure that the competitors will as well. With that a bombshell being dropped, if you will, I do apologize. TMF Matty D up against BFAP Wobsy is the next one on the bill, Humble. These two guys have also been around for quite some time, fighting at the upper end of the competitive level. Matty D, a previous champion, looking to reclaim that here this evening, but is standing up and kind of opposing the BFAP Wobsy, kind of recent addition, who has shown, if nothing else, in his EK run and since joining BFAP, that he really feels that he has the answer for virtually anybody at this stage.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously coming in at a number 11 seed, and then you've got Matty D getting number 7 there. 6-2 record for Matty D last season, so the season that's just passed. And that was an incredible little bit of run. I think he got stopped in a very, very close fight that could have went either way against Moffat Man. And obviously Moffat Man then went on and fought the champion. So that could have been Matty D if one punch went different or one ground and pound strike, because there was about 8 different opportunities where they could have finished each other in that fight. It was a mental fight. So, if the luck swings the opposite way, you could have seen Matty D as champion at the moment, because he would have fought Trixie. So this is an absolute high level fight, and Warbsy's going to obviously come in there to try and take his head off. It's going to be incredible. So I wonder if these guys have cut the weight. I wonder if they're ready, because we're ready. Let's go.
So they're currently hovering over Israel Adesanya, potentially just not wanting to give their opponent any reads on who they're going to be. Talking from personal experience, I know that Matty D is just savage when it comes to the kind of footwork, the overall offense that he's able to put on his opponents here, Humble, and I expect him to try and utilize a lot of that this evening up against Wobsy, who definitely has some hands, man, like as everybody in BFAP does, but the thing about those guys is that they just have a next-level wrestling game that can really, really put it on opponents. I wonder if that's going to be part of his game plan here this evening, because Matty is dangerous on the feet, and I feel like, you want to put your opponent in the most uncomfortable spots possible, right?
Yeah, definitely. And look, we're seeing another Gastelum pick, and that could be for a reason. We might see another masterclass right now, but Matty D's one of the favourites in this tournament, People really like Matty D, and they believe in him as well. And he's picked a great fighter in Michael Bisping, because Michael Bisping's got the cardio. He can outpoint his opponent. He can kind of pick it apart, and he's got fantastic takedown defense. We forget this. Michael Bisping was great at not getting taken down. Chael Sonnen couldn't keep him on the ground, even though he won the fight. He got up tons of times. It's really hard to keep him down. Yeah. So we'll see if he can do that.
I mean, that's an excellent point. I mean, in terms of Matty D on his pick, wanting to put a lot of volume out there, like he does in the majority of his fights, and as we're trying to see him employ here this evening, having that kind of takedown defense and the ability to get up, work his way back to the feet, which kind of a lot of people maybe struggle with, but I think this is a perfect pick for him. And we can already see it maybe coming into play here, Humble, because he's kind of taking charge in the center. It's still very early, of course, but he's looking pretty good so far, pushing the pace.
He's doing exactly what Michael Bisping does. He's moving in and out. He's picking his opponent apart. He's point sparring. That's exactly what he's doing. He's point sparring. I'll hit you. I'll be out of the way when you try and fight back. And that's the game plan at the moment for Matty D. And what it's going to do is going to force Gastelum to either make a mistake and kind of overexert. But Matty D was the one who overexerts. Both of them. Oh my days, that was so close.
Yeah.
He threw it.
I mean, if he had got that finish there, that could have been knockout of the night. But Matty D with the laser-like reaction to duck under that final shot. That pivot lunge from Wobsy, he's been drilling that quite clearly. It's looking clean and definitely a lovely added trick to his repertoire that he's trying to employ.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting well on the back foot as well. As well as Matty D's doing, you can tell the skill and the effort from Wobsy. He's looking for a big shot. He's looking for that counter. My problem is with it is if he doesn't get that counter early on, he might get picked apart a bit and might lose a few rounds. But he doesn't seem to take too much damage at the moment, Cyrus.
No, that's exactly right. He's doing a good job of being defensive. I think that both guys are, quite candidly. But the pace, the overall volume is on the side of Matty D. There was a ankle pick that I saw a little bit earlier on from BFAP Warbsy, which I'm sure the BFAP boys would love. Of course, built for ankle picking is that name, but we're seeing really, really good work from Matty D right now. And he gets the rock combo.
Oh, he caught him there. He caught him standing still and caught him not really moving his head a lot or even moving his feet a lot. He was planting, and that's where Matty D was like, I'll have that one. But again, that pivot, the duck pivot from Warbsy, looking to land that combination. But Matty's seen it twice now. He nearly got caught with it the first time. The second time, it was nowhere near. So he's starting to make a read on that, Cyrus. He's got to be careful of becoming predictable, Warbsy. That's the problem here.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, he got rocked by it, and Matty D's one of those guys that's going to, kind of instantly put that into the memory bank and say, nope, you got me once with it, not again. So definitely has to be a little bit, kind of cognizant of the fact that he's utilized that a number of times already. But look at those statistics. Yeah, I mean, they're very, very kind of down the middle in terms of overall volume, but just that little bit to Matty, right? Those kind of extra total shots, those jabs that are landing, the straights occasionally bleeding through, they eventually may add up for him.
I thought it was much different. I'm seeing a different fight, but I thought Matty D had outlanded his opponent a lot. I didn't realise he got rocked himself. Beautiful work to the body right there. But Robsy drops, and Matty B is now chasing him down. Matty B not being relentless at the moment, but now get into the work, get back to the game plan.
That is beautiful work from Matty D, just absolutely unloading on his opponent up against the cage. Trying to get some of that clinch work, continuing the combinations out here, Humble. And I have to say, he quite clearly has a point to prove here this evening. Wants to get his name back up into, kind of that title contention talk as he takes it one step closer. If he's able to get through BFAP Warbsy, not only would it be an excellent feather in his cap, but he's doing so in a very, very kind of impressive way, mate.
Yeah, he definitely is. And this has been an absolute stellar performance so far from Matty D. But can Matty D put the... Wobsy! He's coming back. He's starting to fire. And this is what Primetime always does to us. The twists and the turns, the roller coaster that is this division. Everybody in this division has the power and the effort to knock you out at any point. But as we say that, Matty D says no! And he starts rocking his opponent. Cyrus, he's on his back now. This could be it.
Yeah, I mean, that get-up is a pretty safe one. Warbsy times it well, being a veteran on the mat, but I'm sure that Matty D was just kind of trying to show that he was willing to go there. I'm pretty sure he's fairly happy it's back on the feet and he's able to go back to the well on what's been successful for him over the majority of the fight, brother. That's got to be it. Beautiful work from Matty D.
Preach.
My God.
Yeah, preach, all right. Bloody hell, Matty D. And these guys are not messing about, Cyrus. They're not messing about. The guys who want to make a statement are coming out tonight, and they are making a statement. There's no question about it. The fights that we're going to have in the next round are absolutely insane, especially if both guys or each competitor is performing like this. This has been that was a fantastic win, a fantastic win.
No, it seriously was, bro. It seriously was. I mean, especially after that very, very early rock, right? In the first round, that very first pivot lunge that we saw out of Warbsy was able to get the rock out of Matty D, and then Matty D just was able to make the adjustment, recognize that his opponent was doing that, and, continue to try and, implement that into his game. Started utilizing a lot of lead shots, the lead hook, the lead body roundhouse, was able to catch his opponent a number of times out here, and just overall championship level adjustments from Matty D. I'm sure the TMF boys are going absolutely crazy in their coaching corner right now, and Matty D is going to be riding a wave of confidence into his next bout. But with that being said, brother, we are ready for the next one. I do believe it's going to be Moffat Man up against Haroon. Two guys that are known to have a very, very well-versed skill set. Haroon has been trying to implement more of a striking game as of recent, and of course Moffat Man has just nasty submissions, likes to kind of sidestep and so on and so forth, that kind of tried to frustrate his opponent out here, that and he's been successful with it. So I'm interested to see what they can do with the 4-star picks, and especially considering that they're both so good everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. And let's talk about the characteristics of these two guys as well, because it's not just about the skill sets, it's also about how they're perceived amongst the community. And Moffat Man, he's had some hate in the past for the way he kind of plays, but it works for him. He's fantastic at it. He's really good at disrupting his opponent's rhythm. He's really good at getting in people's heads, and he keeps his composure. One of the things that Moffat Man is so good at is when the going gets tough, Moffat Man gets going. And that's the reason Moffat Man is the position he is. He was number 3. He was one of these guys that was like Fadinator. He was like Pudgy. He's like Trixie. He's been dominant throughout the season. There's been 4 competitors, 4 seeds that came through, and this Moffat Man was 100% one of them. And he's going to be fighting Haroon. Haroon is an absolute killer, but he's also a controversial character amongst the community. He likes to try to cause a bit of trouble here and there. The Conor McGregor type persona, these characters, the Kamzat Chimaev type persona, likes to cause a bit of trouble, likes to stir it up in the chats, and that puts a target on your back. So you could say this one is kind of hard to kill because both of these guys have got targets on their back. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out with this one.
Couldn't agree with you more, my man. It looks like Haroon is going the Robbie Lawler pick, so definitely intends on trying to implement maybe a little bit more striking in the fight here this evening. Potentially doesn't want to get involved with the submission game of somebody like Moffat Man. But Moffat Man isn't just submissions. He does have a very, very dangerous top game as well. But something to be noted, I think, that is Bronson's hands are pretty slept on in the game. I don't know if you've used him out here, Humble, but he's got really, really quick hands. He can do quite a bit of work with that.
No, I've never used Brunson, and this is quite crazy because I've used most characters, but I just never fancied using him. But I know, because I do the patches on my YouTube, that when he beat his last opponent, he got massively updated and became a massively usable character. So it's going to be interesting because I don't know anything really about him. And Moffat Man's one of those characters who likes to mix it up, and he gets a takedown immediately, a turning one as well, Cyrus. So dangerous position right now.
Yeah, definitely so. But as you see, Haroon is well versed on the mat, instantly starting to land those kind of little pitter-patter shots or whatever you'd like to call them to build the grapple advantage in his favor. Not able to get the get-up, and I think that was a bit of a rushed mistake from him. He saw a little bit of GA, thought that would be enough, but you cannot sleep on the top pressure of Moffat Man, bro.
I slightly disagree, and the reason I disagree is because he got closer to the cage, which now he's going to go for a get-up.
Fair enough.
So one of the things that he was doing, he was too far away. Instead of going to half guard and risking that position and giving his opponent top control, is he then went for that to try and move closer, which very smart decision because now he's got his back, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, make me eat my words, my man, and I will eat them gladly. Haroon, able to turn it round, implementing exactly what you said. Perfect read out here, Humble. And now he finds himself in a very advantageous position, half guard. And once again, Haroon is a guy that also has fantastic top control and is known to, annihilate enough people when it hits the mat.
Yeah, 100%. And he's doing that. It's a bit of a dick sling contest. These guys are now grappling. You've got a striker who's kind of grappling these twos, and you know what? I'm going to show you. I need to show you. I know I need to show you that I can also grapple Lawler. So you don't want to continue taking me down throughout the fight, scoring points. I want you to be scared of my grappling because this can happen, and that's what he's doing right now. He's getting that out and swinging it and saying, "I can do it too."
Yeah, no, I think excellent point once again. I mean, once it hits the feet, if it manages to make it back to the feet at this stage, because Lawler's looking great down here. Denial after denial is mounting up for him. But if Moffat Man does make it back to his feet, this was his game plan, is to get the takedown and to make it gritty on the mat. And it's kind of being turned on its head out here, Humble, and he's having a lot of shots starting to bleed through, especially in that side control position. And now with this postured up, if any of them get through, which they don't, on point reversal, sticking true, not getting too nervous, and quite obviously believing in his abilities down here.
Yeah, 100%. And he just massive mistake right there. And Haroon takes his back. Moffat Man does not block that transition, and that was I'm surprised about that one because a Moffat Man usually he's on point with those, pardon me. But Robbie Lawler's on top right now, and he's landed some damage, and he's going to start again. I thought that was Moffat Man's chance to kind of roll reversal. You've had that amount of time. I'm going to spend the last minute and 24 seconds, and then that would have made us question who won the round. But at the moment, Haroon made that was a crazy judgment call right there from Moffat Man. And what the hell is happening, Cyrus? What is going on?
I don't know. They're getting away with transitions. I don't think they ordinarily would on both sides, but he's only got a couple of seconds left in this round. It'd be interesting to see if he can get any any ground and pound off. Doesn't look like it. Once again, that was a bit of a testing round, I think, for both guys, Humble, because obviously we saw the Moffat Man come out here and say, I'm going to take this to the mat. I believe in my abilities down here. But then he got reversed and Haroon went to work on him for a good section of that round. And at least in my mind, that's what stands out the most. I don't know if you see it another way. A close round, but I do think Haroon stole it with all of that ground and pound.
Yeah, we don't know how long Moffat Man was on at the start, but the ground and pound was what was different. And fighters are judged on damage, not control. So, it's what there could be one round apiece if they keep going the way they're going on the moment. But at the moment, I'm giving that round to Haroon by a narrow margin. But he did do some more damage. You got Moffat Man on the counter right now, but this is where I come back to my point earlier about just going with them on the ground will stop them going for the takedown, because then they'd be scared of getting reversed and potentially losing that round. At least on the feet, they've got a chance to kind of outstrike you, so you've got to test it at least. So that's kind of what Haroon wanted, and he's on the inside right now, picking away at the Moffat Man.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe making Moffat Man a little bit hesitant to shoot the takedown, but the hands were a little bit too much as well out here, Humble, and forcing a takedown at Moffat Man, which was very nicely timed and successful, and gives him an opportunity to work his way back into this fight with over 3 minutes 20 left on the clock in the second round. That's a lot of time to work.
Yeah, it is, and he needs to not give up position, first of all. I feel like there's been a slight bit of wow.
As you say,
gets the sweep. Yeah, I feel like there's been some lack of focus from both guys giving up certain positions. I think Haroon did a better job when he was on top because he denied a lot of transitions, but Moffat Man kind of gave up some reversals, which he could have essentially took another minute off the clock on the rounds. And this fight looks like it's going to be decided on minutes. In this fight, it looks like it's going to be decided on little key moments in the fight. And you can't win key moments off your back unless you're going for a submission. But I eat my words again, Cyrus. The commentator's curse is real.
It really is. I wonder if there's any, I didn't notice their ping before going into this. I imagine it was stable, otherwise there would have been some things raised. But this is an unusual level of things not being blocked, Humble, from these two guys in particular. Two guys that really do like to work their ground game. They're normally very, very on point, especially with some of the bigger transitions that seem to be getting away with.
Yeah, definitely. These are the reason we're so shocked. If you're not like a full-time professional or playing all these big leagues, you won't quite know what we're talking about as he drops in right there. This could be it from Haroon. Yeah, as I was saying though, he could, these little transitions are easy to block usually for these players. You don't usually get away with that, and that's why we're so shocked. Anyway, these two are coming out and they're absolutely throwing it down. But like I said, this is where Haroon would want it as the better striker in the Robbie Lawler. I do think Moffat Man's got the ability to hurt him, but so far Haroon has put it on him. But watch that stamina, Cyrus. I've just noticed it, and that's a problem.
Yes, sir, it could become problematic very quickly, especially since the Moffat Man is not adverse to dig into the body with double shots just like that, leaving the chin open, but had his opponent so hurt he could not answer back. Only 10 seconds or so left in this the second round of this competition right here, Humble, but I have to say just the overall damage that's been landing from Haroon is likely going to put him quite far ahead. I think he's probably two up. I think we have to see a finish out of his opponent, and I could be wrong here, of course. The third round does often sway the judges quite considerably from past performances that we've noticed, at least. But that's what I'm seeing it so far, potentially two up.
Yeah, but you've got to think about the momentum. Momentum is in the Moffat Man's favour at the moment because he just rocked his opponent. The stamina is low, and he knows that when he gets him hurt, because of that stamina, it might be a bit of an easier finish. So he might well go back to the body, and when he does go back to the body as well, like right now, I was about to say, he has got no choice, Haroon, but to block his body, and that's going to set up the headshots later on in the fight. Maybe we'll see that, but Haroon is starting to crumble, and the Moffat Man is starting to take over. Oh my God!
Mate, I'm not making any more calls on this fight here this evening. These guys are rocking each other back and forth.
Wow.
From a fight that started out considerably on the ground, it's all hands over the stretch.
Haroon! Oh, he nearly finishes him. Moffat Man's back to his feet. He's got him against the fence. He's landed a three-piece combo on the block, and now he's going back to it. The Moffat Man is coming back for more.
Brother, we just want to lead overhand off the break. He is swinging from the breaches with every single one of these shots. Obviously wants to take the Moffat Man's head off and definitely wants to secure this round, but...
Damn, he's going to be against the fence. This could be it. He's got a chance to finish the Muffet Man. Haroon. He's going to go for the ground and pound. He doesn't quite get it. Muffet Man survives again, and we've seen this countless times. He still comes back to win fights. Haroon's got to finish him. You can't play with your food, Cyrus. You've got to finish your dinner.
No, that was, I mean, maybe the stamina coming into play just a little bit. I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed, but 2 minutes 35 on the clock. We've seen that when Haroon gets some top control, he can easily take a minute or so as long as he's minding his P's and Q's, but
P's and Q's.
Yeah, the P's and Q's were straight back to it, bro. It's my catchphrase, bro.
I love it. Here we go, he gets the reversal again though, and as you were saying, the P's and Q's, he's got to mind him. He didn't mind him there, Cyrus, and now he's ended up in another position. If I was the Muffet Man, I'd be looking to get back to the feet. I'd be trying to do some of that, start the round finish the round how I started it, but you know, you've got that stamina advantage. You've got to start to unload now. You've got 1 minute 40 seconds left. Who knows how the judges have scored it, and you've also been dropped in this round as well, so he's been turned over, and this could be it, Cyrus.
Yeah, that head health is problematic to say the least for the Muffet Man. If we see Haroon able to posture up even just once with some, you know, a stamina advantage, a little bit of GA, so it's easy and clean, he could be quite easily eking out a little bit of a knockout, or, you know, TKO at least, from the ground and pound, but separates with 50 seconds. That could end up biting him in the butt. Obviously, the Muffet Man isn't opposed to landing some bombs there.
The Muffet Man! He's rocked him! Oh, the Muffet Man's got down! And Haroon chases down his opponent. Muffet Man switches him. No, he doesn't. This could be it, Cyrus. Haroon going for the finish. The big shots on the chin. This is it. Oh, Muffet Man survives. He gets the reversal.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, jeez. This is crazy.
I think we may be seeing our first decision of the evening. A back and forth battle. Both guys leaving it all out there. I don't know really who got it. I do think the first two probably went to Haroon. Did the third one go to him as well? Am I just out there? I mean, there's a lot of rocks in a couple of those rounds, bro.
I don't remember. Jesus. Wow. You know, that was a crazy fight. They just put on a show. If they didn't, they've had the fight of the night so far, 100%. Give me 3 rounds of that every time. If you want to go to a decision, do it like that. Man, do it like that. That was a super close fight. And we're going to see who goes through. It is Haroon going to the next round, and he's going to be fighting no other than Matty D. That is going to be an insane fight. Absolutely insane fight. And, you know, a fantastic performance from both guys. The Muffet Man was never kind of out of that fight, and he did exactly what he's known for. That's the one reason I like watching him. He's never out of a fight. He's never out of a fight. He constantly puts himself in positions where he can win the fight. And I think there was some slight mistakes on staying on the ground for too long after realizing you could get out grappled by Haroon, because even though you were the Derek Brunson, he started to do really well on the feet. And when he started to go on the ground, he got turned over and controlled for periods of time. So I don't know, maybe a slight adjustment there from Muffet Man, but you can't take anything from Haroon because he did a fantastic job and he wins the fight. Absolutely great.
Exactly right, brother. Exactly right. Advancing that one step closer to potentially becoming the season champion in this opening Grand Prix of Season 3 on the Xbox division. But with the champion in mind, Humble, that does take us on to the next bout of the evening. That's going to be BFAP Trixie, currently ranked as the pound-for-pound GOAT. When it comes to primetime history, this man has put record after record on the plate and then exceeded them only himself, brother. He looks to continue that here this evening up against an old foe and good friend in Keza from the FSK boys, who was able to get that W in the last Grand Prix, I think you'll remember, and you know, once again feels that he has the answer for Trixie here this evening.
Yeah, 100%. And I want everyone in the chat to listen to this, because Cody Dang, Jay Dime, Shogun, every one of our players, Corby, everyone who's come through tonight, listen to this. These two have fought in a Grand Prix when Trixie was absolutely killing and destroying everyone, and Keza shocked the world to beat him. And he's got, for some reason, they seeded perfectly against each other again. And we were astonished this fight was going to be happening. And it was kind of too good to be true. It was like, oh my God, this fight is fell perfectly together because of the way it was seeded. And, you know, Trixie could be in trouble in this fight. And it's the first time I've seen him potentially being in trouble all season, and it's against a man who hasn't been doing the greatest in the division. He's got nothing to lose here, absolutely nothing to lose, and he's already done it before, and that's the crazy thing. He's already done it before, so we could see it happen again.
Yeah, I mean, he said that he's taken this fight that little bit extra serious, and of course he's going to be, man. This is his opportunity to quite literally claim the primetime gold right here. Of course, he will have to defend it throughout the evening if he was to win it, but I mean, it's one hell of a task ahead of him, brother. Trixie, he may have dropped that last one. He is the champion for a reason. There is a reason that he sets record after record, and that's that he has all of the skills to back it up, whether it hits the mat or stays on the feet. Of course, now with the BFAP boys, probably been drilling that grappling a little bit more, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe implement that if he starts to experience a little bit of problems on the feet.
Oh yeah, and if anyone's wondering as well, it's my job to tell you this. This is a title fight, so it's 5 rounds, and they both get to pick any character in weight class. Anyone Trixie's fighting gets to pick 5. It's a championship fight essentially, so this is going to be out of that normal restriction that we just had, and we get to see our first Robert Whittaker versus Robert Whittaker, and these two are going at it, Cyrus.
Yes, sir. Starting out very quickly, and that's what you expect to see from Keza in the green shorts. That is the red corner, of course. Keza really does like to bring the action. He likes to really force the pace on his opponents, try to attack that block, try to get them overreaching and maybe leaning off into the wrong direction. As you can see right here, he's turning it up incredibly, and we're seeing Trixie stay composed, but getting caught on some leg kicks, entries that he's trying to throw, and he's definitely taking more damage than he wants at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. Keza's doing a fantastic job of catching him off rhythm. The rhythm of Keza has been great, but Trixie switches it up. Oh, elbow, come back. You can't just fire on me. Boop, he's one back. That was nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These guys absolutely unloading at each other in the very first round of a 5-round fight. The very first 5-round fight of the evening being the very first championship fight of the evening. Honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less. We were going to start this fight out, or start the night out with this fight, and I think that it's worked out quite nicely for them, bro. Starting on the right-hand side of the bracket, continues the hype through the evening, and we get to see them challenge for this belt.
Yeah, 100%, and Keza could shock the world right now, but he's in an uphill battle right now, because even though he started off well, the adjustments came out from Trixie. He got tricky, and Keza cannot deal with those combinations and the rhythm changes at the moment from Trixie. He has, though, showed glimpses of just beautiful counter-striking, and that's where I get to worry, because Trixie throws so much. If Keza notices one of those patterns, it could be over.
We shall see what is going on in terms of the rest of this first round. There's still a lot of time on the clock. A minute 20 can feel like an eternity when you're eating this much damage, and we're seeing the champion poke with that jab. A lot of head movement from Keza, and that could potentially lead to some big damage as he is right now, but it's going to be tough, brother, when your opponent's got a bit more stamina than you, and you've already eaten the kind of lion's share of the damage.
Big shot right there. Beautiful work. He kind of overexerted himself, and Trixie lands a huge shot. Massive shot right now, and goes again with the combination. Big front kick down the middle to the body to the head from Trixie, and Keza's looking for that big one shot, and he's kind of got Trixie's head kind of hurt, but he needs to land. He's whiffing way too much at the moment. Cyrus, big shot.
Yeah, I mean, if he had this, oh my god, Trixie is taking the belt to the next round right here. So he was trying to. The bell able to save Keza into the next round. He's not going to be happy with the way that first round went, Humble. I got to imagine that those FSK boys are in his ear right now, trying to get him, to make the necessary adjustments to get himself back into this bout.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just going to address it again. All the championship fights tonight on the card, if the titles are getting defended by the champion, it is a title fight because he's defending his belt. So he gets to pick each character, and it gets to be 5 rounds because he's defending his belt. And this is what he could be doing right now, Cyrus, as he lands a massive shot right down the middle there. And Keza, it's a struggle at the moment for Keza. It's an uphill battle like we talked about earlier on, but he keeps getting caught.
Yeah, he does. The head health's problematic at this stage for him. That left leg also, but obviously just the stamina from Trixie allows him to absolutely unload with combinations. Keza is down for the second time here this evening. This time, 3 minutes 50 on the clock. A lot of time for the champion to work. This, as you said, uphill battle to say the least. Keza survives, but not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, 100%. Trying to build that G up. And it's a different game now on the ground. Now we get to see Trixie's beautiful ground game, because he's got it as well, and he will use it. And this is where he can chip away. Make sure, don't give the guy an absolute inch, because if he can work the ground and pound on the floor for a couple of minutes, oh wow, he gets sweeped. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that was a lot of GA building in his favor. Obviously, Keza, got a good top game as well. I don't know if he's going to try and stay here for too long. I mean, maybe the head health will mean that he will, but the stamina is too low, bro. And Swift Trixie able to get that reversal straight back into top control with over 2 minutes 20 on the clock.
Yeah, with that stamina, it's difficult to grapple anyway. And Trixie was not worried. He was like, you know what? I'll just wait for my opportunity. That's exactly what he did. Gets a denial right there. And Keza's going to take some punishment to his block right now. He's not going to be able to take too many of these elbows, and his head health is already low. Trixie looking to pound his opponent into the mat like grounded meat, Cyrus.
He's having a lot of problems, bro. The stamina too much, the head health too much. And obviously the block can't sustain a lot of damage either at this stage. And of course on the opposite side, the champion is just looking extra clean at this stage. Has a lot of stamina. The head health, the body health, all pretty clean. It's going to take a big movement for Keza to be able to get back into it. Robert Whittaker does have hands, but I just don't know if he has what it takes, what's left in the tank to get the rock of the finish.
Oh, his head health is kind of low though. I'm keep looking at it, and that damage he did in that first round must have done some significant health, because it's still low. That's 2 shots away from being hurt. And Keza's looking for that one opportunity. He's still not out of the fight. He's still trying his best, kind of going for some big shots right now. And Trixie is starting to dominate, and this could be it. It is. Some frustration there from Keza, but Trixie does a fantastic job to finish his opponent in the second round. Yes. No need for 5 rounds. No need.
Well, Trixie going to be feeling good, obviously defending his belt, able to do so against somebody that was able to get the win over him in the last Grand Prix. That was a bit of a statement for him to start out this right-hand side of the bracket. Obviously got a kind of killer's row ahead of him still, Humble. Not all the woods yet. And funnily enough, two FSK boys, but we got FSK Jamie Bucks up next, so another member of the FSK camp. Potentially he will find himself up against the champion in the next round, or it could be Jakey, BFAP Jakey, stepping in on a short notice. Honorary pick from myself. Obviously been around for a very, very long time, doing some fantastic work, kind of top to bottom, and kind of, had ups and downs, of course, like many people, but has proven that he's able to kind of beat the best, and that's what he's got to do. He's touted at the moment in terms of the ranked stage from the last season.
Yeah, 100%, and both these guys are very, very good. A tough season for JQB, but at the same time, he fought some of the best guys. He fought the champion, the number 1 seed, the number 3 seed. He's fought pretty much everybody at the top, and when you're fighting that level of guys over and over again, you're going to lose sometimes. Even when they fight each other, obviously one of them's going to lose. So it was just a tough outing for him, but he's done fantastic in getting them 6 wins as well. And we can't go unmissed with them. And then we've got Jamie Bucks on the other side. He's been a dark horse so far in the Xbox division. Not many people I know we're talking about Jamie Bucks, and when he started to get the wins up, I think he's 5-2 at number 8 at the moment, and he's absolutely killing it. He's on a 5-fight win streak as well. His momentum coming into this is like a rocket, and he's looking to take out a very good competitor, but a tough task at the moment from Jakey B.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Jakey is a guy that trains with the champion, quite literally trains with some of the best in the game in a number of respects, like Slick Colt and a number of others that we've seen come through the kind of killer's row of EK, and then of course now BFAP. I'm interested to see what the changes have been. When BFAP was kind of initially running before they joined EK and obviously come back to themselves now, they were something a little bit different when it came to the work on the mat. Humble. It was a bit scary what they were able to do to people when they hit the ground, just a crazy level of control. And we know that Jakey's worked on those hands quite a lot. That's definitely paid off in his most recent fights, but if he's able to maybe go back to some of those roots, he could have a lot of success up against Jamie, who, once again has a well-rounded game, but I would say maybe there's a little bit of an advantage for Jakey in that element of the game.
Yeah, 100%. And I was wrong about the record of Jamie Bucks, by the way. He'll kill me for this, but he's number 6 and he's 4-0. So he's not lost a fight yet. 4-0, he's not lost a fight yet. So we've got a undefeated prospect, and when there's an undefeated prospect, there's a level there's a level of mysteriousness there. There's a big question mark put over their head because you don't know how good they are until they fight the best of the best. And when they fight the best of the best, they can either fold under pressure or they can come out on top and be one of those guys that you didn't even think about before. And all of a sudden, they're one of the top contenders in the division every single season. So Jamie Bucks could well and truly be that person. But these two look like they know each other very, very well. So this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, no, they most certainly do. And they've gone with the Robbie Lawler Cannonier pick. This seems to be a pretty popular one here this evening in the 4-star middleweight weight class. Once again, we'll have to see who's able to get that power off first, Humble. See who's able to implement their game plan more. Jakey's going to have a little bit more kicking. It doesn't look like he's going to want to implement the grappling here this evening. Otherwise, Cannonier probably not the best pick to get that done up against Robbie Lawler. I imagine this is all hands and a lot of it early.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this pick as well, aren't we, now? So this is quite interesting that the top players are all kind of picking the Robbie Lawlers and the Cannoniers, but you can see why if the last couple of fights we've had, and we haven't even addressed this yet, but this is a number one contender fight because the winner of this is fighting for the belt next. So these two have got a lot to prove right now. I don't know if they've thought about that yet, but these two will be fighting Trixie in the next round, as Gucci pointed out in the chat. Thank you, Gucci. Amazing perspective there. And didn't even think about it, but yeah, these guys are fighting for a chance at the belt right now, Cyrus, and that adds a little bit of spice to things, right?
Oh, it most certainly does. I mean, obviously, Jakey's going to want to challenge against his teammate. He's going to feel very confident, I imagine, up against that style, as he's very familiar with it, but going to have a tough time, of course, up against Lawler with Jamie Bucks. Those FSK boys are always confident in their abilities, and that's why you see him take the center here once again, and look at the head movement slipping off that center line, now going to the body. A lot of work adding up on both ends very, very quickly here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And look at the battle of the feet at the moment. The battle of that. I like to call it the Reebok sign. The battle of the Reebok sign. The person who steps off that Reebok sign is kind of now giving up the position for the other person. And is it just counter movement, or are they getting backed up because they need to reset? And that's kind of the battle that they're having at the moment, constantly fighting over that Reebok sign. So I love the kind of exchanges that they have. And look at this right now. Look at where we're at. We've got Jakey B getting pushing him back right now, and then coming back himself. This is an absolute banger so far, but the leg helps, Cyrus. That's what I've got to notice so far.
Yeah, we see him try to dig to it once again. That left leg of Jakey B not looking fantastic, and he's the guy that's got the kind of higher kicking statistics, or so you would think, being Cannonier. Just taking a lot of damage. It's all adding up from Jamie.
Yeah, 100%. And even though Cannonier is kind of a great kickboxer, and he was a fantastic kickboxer in his own right, you know, fight at light heavyweight, middleweight, and welterweight as well now. So the guy, a lot like taking the same decision as Anthony Johnson, but you know, Jakey B is now decided to be put on his back by Jamie Bucks, and he's going to try and get up right now, but he's got to be careful of blowing his stamina. You know, Cannonier's got a bit of a lack of stamina compared to Jamie Bucks right there.
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, obviously, that was a beautifully timed takedown from Jamie Bucks. He found himself in a very, very nice position to do so, clearly reading the situation very, very well. And this is where he can pour it on. I mean, obviously, Jakey's incredibly well versed down here, so I don't imagine that he's going to be, you know, giving up anything too easily. But if he's slow and steady, he could win the race.
100% beautiful elbows right there. And we've seen this in the last previous fights. We've kind of seen some replica of some combinations, some transitions and moves. And this is kind of what you get when the best guys fight. You see a lot of the meta combinations, the meta ground and pound, how to kind of control and pick your opponent apart from the top position. Done expertly well, but great effort getting back to his feet. But maybe he was unloading because it was the end of the round there. I'd have kind of done the same thing. You know, you can blow a bit of steam there if you get reversed. It doesn't really matter, Cyrus.
Yeah, that's right. Especially, like you say, end of the round. But there they are, second round already underway. You can see Cannonier's stamina is having a bit of a problem. All that body work, the takedown adding up for Jamie Bucks, and he's going to be feeling a wave of confidence, although has to be careful. As you see, Jakey is absolutely throwing from the fences, but gets caught with it, Humble.
And as you said, wave right there, he swung an overhand from hell and whiffed like hell. The wave and then went past Jamie Bucks' face, and Jamie Bucks said, have one of these, and caught him with a beautiful combination and a counter shot there. But Cannonier trying his best right now to stay on the outside, but he's got to keep wondering about the takedown, the stamina, the head, the body, the head. He's got a lot more to worry about. as he lands a huge shot right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a beautifully timed uppercut. He tries to go for it again. He's still got Robbie Lawler's head health very low, Humble, and he's trying to fire, but the stamina is so low on his own end. The one shot that returns could literally decapitate him.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm noticing so far, though, that Jamie Bucks is starting to welcome it. He wants him to overcommit. He wants him to throw. Now he's got him the stamina low. He can kind of neutralize that power, and that's what Jamie Bucks is looking for. He's looking for the kill shot right now, and so is Jakey B, because he's got no other option. He's got to try and finish his opponent now, or the stamina's only going to get worse, Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly right. Obviously he wants to be defensively cognizant, but ultimately what he's going to want to do here is try to land a big, well-timed shot, and that's obviously becomes more increasingly difficult the more your stamina is kind of waning, and of course, you're always going to be up against a very, very good opponent, especially in these Grand Prix. There are no easy fights here this evening.
There isn't an easy fight, and these guys are coming out to dominate, but it doesn't mean their opponents are bad. Their opponents are fantastic. They've showed that throughout the season. It's the case of on the night, it's that A game. It's who's bringing out the Michael Jordan. It's who's bringing out the LeBron. It's who's bringing out the Conor McGregor on his night. It's that person of who is being the not making a mistake, not putting a foot wrong, and putting your game plan on your opponent rather the other way around.
Exactly right. A lovely reversal from Jakey B for the BFAT boys. Quite clearly showing his grappling pedigree is still there, but he may get reversed. Nope. Able to stop it. Had a lot of GA against him there, Humble. The reactions quite clearly are starting to dial in for Jakey, but he gets flipped into top mount, brother, with a beautiful denial. Honestly, I have to say, on the side of Robbie Lawler, he is looking absolutely fantastic. The FSK boys are going to be proud of Jamie Bucks' performance here this evening so far.
Yeah, definitely. And he's going into the next season undefeated if it's continuing like this, because Jakey B hasn't done what he's needed to do to kind of secure these rounds so far. And you've got to wonder right now, what's his game plan if he does make it to the third round, because he's being kind of dominated in every position and he's not quite landing. It's like a few of the other fights that we've seen tonight. He needs to mix it up and he needs to make some adjustments.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of ground and pound to close out that round. Once again, mounting up the damage, only going to continue to chip away at the overall head health, body health, and stamina of somebody like Cannonier in this position. Is got to be kind of struggling to find an opening for that finish. But if anybody can do it, it is the side of BFAP, and obviously Jakey B going to have to dig deep, though, Humble, and he's trying to do so right here in the third round.
It definitely is. But he gets met with fire as he meets it. Fire comes at you, you've got to meet fire with a fire. And Robbie Lawler is doing exactly that. He's holding his own. He's using his head movement, making him whiff. And that's where the danger comes, because the stamina is so low. If you whiff, takes one shot to really hurt you. And Jamie B can kind of afford to miss sometimes. So we'll see how he approaches this one. But kind of needs to land something big.
Yeah. Definitely does, but once again, look how on point Jamie is. He's making reads. Oh, but he gets caught with the straight into the lead overhand. Quite clearly, Jakey's still got some tricks left in his bag of tricks, but once again, that stamina is so problematic, brother. It's getting harder and harder, and the damage hits that little bit extra.
Yeah, if he had a bit more stamina there, he would have done a good job, but Jamie Bucks gets away with it, and this is impressive so far. Great performance for Jamie Bucks. He's trying to meet the likes of Fadinair. He's trying to meet the likes of all the other competitors have been incredibly dominant like Caliber. And this is a great performance so far. Can he get the finish he's looking for, Cyrus?
I mean, it looks like the painting might be on the wall already. Jamie Bucks is taking his time and methodically looking for that finish.
Wham! Ducks under his punch and puts him to sleep. Beautiful work, Cyrus. Amazing.
Yeah, methodical as they get. Jamie Bucks is dialed in and turned up here this evening. If that is any indication of how the rest of the evening is going to go for that man, it's going to be an eventful one, to say the least. He looked sensational, Humble. I mean, my God.
I told you, this guy is no joke. You don't get the 4-0 in the Xbox division with the likes of all those killers I've talked about throughout the start and go with an undefeated record without being a great fighter. And that's exactly what it is. And is he better than a great fighter? That's the question we've still got to ask, because next He is fighting Trixie for the belt. We forgot to mention at the start. We did mention it, and now that's going to happen. We're going to see Trixie fight Jamie Bucks for the belt, fight essentially undefeated versus a great champion. Amazing fight.
Yeah, it's sometimes these things, they write themselves, and that looks to be the case once again here this evening, Humble. I look forward to the next title fight that we have on this card. Of course, that's going to be in our quarterfinals, but once again, it takes us one step to the end of the right-hand side of the bracket, which is now going to be up between TMF's very own Jake Paul, a man that has quite clearly shown that there are some defensive levels to the game, has excellent sidestep game and counters to go with it, Humble, but he's up against FSK's leader in Ricardo, a kid that honestly has shown level after level that he continues to get better and better. The last performance against Rara was absolutely sensational, and obviously he's going to look to replicate something like that, and going to be tough up against somebody like TMF Jake Paul, who's obviously the teammate of Rara and going to be looking to get some justice back.
And let's talk about the justice that he's wanting to get back. The 21 overhands in a row from Ricardo. The disrespect from Ricardo. Let's not call it any other way than it is, Cyrus. He threw 21 overhands at his head and knocked him out with one. 21 in a row. Timing them differently, throwing them, and he said tonight, do you want to see my overhands again? And TMF Jake Paul is going to be looking to get redemption. If Ricardo knocks Jake Paul out with the overhand tonight, that's 2 TMF boys in a row.
Yeah, we will see. We will see how this adds up. I mean, AJS Gamer, FSK Ricardo, AJG Gamer, also known as TMF Jake Paul. A little bit of a different mix-up here in this one, Humble. I was going to say Robbie Lawler up against Darren Till, but it looks like we're getting a last-minute switch from Ricardo. Or maybe not. Maybe he goes back. There's a lot of options in middleweight, to be fair. I think it's a really good fight to kind of showcase some of the 4-star players that you can fight as when it comes to the middleweight division.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's Nick Diaz. There's Kevin Holland. Paulo Costa's one. I'm sure, is Khamzat Chimaev one? He is, yeah, because he's behind Kanania. So Khamzat Chimaev is a 4-star in this division. You've got Lil Machida. There's so many. Vitor Belfort. There's just a ton. That you can pick from. And it'll be interesting to see if any of these guys mix that up, or they're going to both go Lawler versus Lawler.
Mm-hmm.
He's a killer. He's my favourite player in this division as well. So maybe, it's a smart choice. They'll probably be training with him all day. You're going to pick him. He got an upgrade when he beat Nick Diaz. It makes complete sense to do that. And in Mirror, you kind of see who the best player is out of the two.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sometimes mirrors are a little bit difficult to track, who is who, but as long as we get different colored shorts, we should be in. No, we don't. I don't know. It always changes. The graphic is different, don't worry. But
I think he picked it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I expect this one to be an absolute barn burner. Like I said, there's a bit of potential bad blood between these two guys, and certain kind of justices that are needing to be done in the eyes of TMF Jake Paul. He's going to have to be on his A game, though. Ricardo was shown to be incredibly well-rounded, and obviously trains with some of the best, as we just saw in the last one.
Well, you've been in a team, Cyrus. You know what it's like. You beat somebody from a different team, you post it in your group chat, you talk about it, you have a bit of a giggle. TMF versus FSK. It's a huge rivalry that goes on within the Xbox community, and these guys, you always want to one-up for your team. So Ricardo, he's going to want to do the same, and he's taking center of the octagon again. And TMF Jake Paul, currently on a 3-fight win streak, he's doing fantastic in the Xbox division. He's looking to get his foot in and maybe learn some of the combinations from Ricardo before he starts firing.
Yeah, 100%, my man. Nice little body uppercut, and we're seeing some chambered combinations from Ricardo, looking to maybe catch his opponent a little bit cold in the first round. Obviously, Jake Paul's being a little bit more flat-footed than he does normally. He likes to use a lot of those side steps, but being very, very respectful of the danger that Ricardo quite clearly possesses as he presses forward and looks to continue to find a home for some of those shots.
Yeah, a lot of lateral movement at the moment. He's constantly heading off to the left. He's trying to get out the way of the power. And as I say that, the power comes after him, starting to chase him down, and Ricardo is starting to go after his opponent. Great work from Ricardo to get to that position. He's just been the more proactive fighter at the moment. He's caught his opponent flat. A lot of that Cowboy Cerrone, Conor McGregor sort of style. Catching your opponent flat, coming out hot. They've got to deal with you. You don't have to deal with them, and you try and get a good head start.
Nice. the body work once again. I mean, both guys continue to go for that body straight. It's been honestly kind of a staple of the night all round here, Humble. A lot of great body work continues to happen, and it seems that they attack the body and the rest seems to follow. Once again, Jake Paul digging to that body with roundhouses, lead hooks galore.
Oh, nicely tapes him to the body there. Big shot. And, nice work so far from Ricardo. He's just picking away. He's not kind of overexerting himself. And when he does have the opportunity, he's putting it on him. And Jake Paul hasn't kind of got going yet. He hasn't quite picked it. As I say that, he lands a nice combination. But Jake Paul needs to do some more, kind of swing that in his favor. And that's where it starts, the head movement. You can't constantly move, Cyrus. You've got to sometimes hold your ground. You've got to fight back. You've got to counter. When you plant your feet, you have a bit more power. So sometimes you've got to meet him with that and kind of mix it up. And as I say, that's exactly what he does and drops his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, the upkick of Doom manages to keep him in there for a little bit longer, but that was a big moment for him. I imagine that, with that, he's probably got the round in the bag, and I imagine that as long as he keeps it a little bit tight, he can maybe get his opponent overextending and catch them again over the next 20 or so.
Yeah, even I didn't even notice this, but massive shot there. Ricardo's going to chase him. Is he going to exert energy? He goes for the overhand.
Oh my God.
He drops him.
There's enough time for this, bro. There really is.
10 seconds. This is it. He's give up. What the hell just happened? That was insane. Whoa, okay. Please don't quit.
Jeez.
Thank the Lord ever may gods. Anyway, we go back to it, and that was insane. He caught him with the overhand from Doom. The overhand from Doom followed the left hook from Hell, and all of a sudden he was in trouble and nearly got finished. And I was about to say his stamina was going down rapidly as the movement had been kind of getting to him, so we'll keep an eye on that. But that was a huge rock at the end of the round. You've got to think Ricardo's happy right now.
Yeah, definitely so. And once again, he catches him. The head health is non-existent. The overhand from Ricardo.
He did it. Is he going to finish his opponent? No, he's not. Oh my God, he landed the overhand again. That's 2 for 2. 2 for 2, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, he said that he was going to do it. He's been able to so far. Let's hope that for his sake, he does not play with his food and continues to try and get his opponent out of here. Obviously, now finds himself on bottom, and TMF Jake Paul is going to try to get something going on the opposite end. His stamina, like you pointed out, is much, much higher at this stage. And although that head health is waning, if he gets his opponent any more gassed and is able to unload, that stamina is enough to to kind of close the deal out.
He's pouring at his opponent right now. Great work. We've got a bit of an issue with their stream at the moment. Our stream is their stream, but we'll get back to it. Just looks like he paused for a second. Great head movement from Ricardo as well. He's now preempting the shots that are coming back to him and starting to deal with those as well, making his opponent drain stamina. Beautiful work right now. Oh, he's rocked him again. Ricardo's on fire.
Yeah, he's added a lot of damage, but a beautiful pull on the side. I can't. The thing is, bro, the damage is adding up so highly for Ricardo at this stage, and he's still got enough stamina where he's more than in the fight, but advantages are starting to lean in the side of Jake Paul. If he's just able to stop taking just as much damage as he is, he could be into a winner.
Oh, wow. Good head movement. He's starting to hit the body a lot more now as well. He's getting those opportunities to land those little niggly body shots on in there. That's only going to help his cause going into the third round. Maybe there's a rally coming here because Jake Paul is starting to pick his opportunity. Even though he's being caught pillar to post with them combinations, he's starting to make adjustments. And it depends on how Ricardo deals with these adjustments that's going to determine this fight.
Yeah, exactly right. And obviously Ricardo, that is, has got Jake Paul in a position where literally one shot could be all it takes. The straight on the button sits him down, but
kick.
Like I said,
nice
that stamina is starting to allow Jake Paul to be a little bit cleaner in terms of the head movement, and he gets him hurt.
He fires back, and this is the thing right now. The stamina is so low that you can get those back now, and you can start to swing the balance in his favor. And because of the stamina as well, it's difficult to defend when you're on the floor. The damages hurt more. He lands a beautiful lead hook right there, catches his opponent walking into it, and this is going to be a chance for him to finish the fight. This could be it, Cyrus.
He survives again. Jake Paul is a gritty man. He likes to really, really hang in there for the fight. He often likes to take the fight into the later rounds, having all he can handle over the opening two, though, my man. It's only 5 seconds. This could be it.
This could be it. Oh, my days. He's still in the fight.
The stamina, brother. The stamina is what it is right now, right? I mean, Ricardo's done so much damage. He's had so many opportunities to close out this fight, and through no, lack of trying, Jake Paul has managed to eke out minute after minute and finds himself in a pretty strong spot in terms of stamina, but obviously just has to be careful that he's able to avoid some of that kind of shit coming back his way.
Yeah, 100%. And, beautiful work right now from Jake Paul to kind of rally in the later of that round, and he's going into the third right now with terrible head health, and it's going to be the most dangerous in the first 2 minutes, so this is where he's got to be cautious. But he did this his last fight against Booker. He literally did this and won the fight in the third round, so he is a fighter. He is Rocky.
Oh.
He is determined and about to be knocked out. Oh my God.
About to be knocked out. Yeah, Ricardo pulled it on, brother.
Sorry.
No, you're good. He gets the W for FSK. Those boys coming through in style here this evening. And honestly, a fantastic bout, start to finish. Both guys really delivered, but Ricardo just that little bit more, bro. The damage was too much for him.
Yeah, 100%. He's had a bit of a twinkle in his step, Ricardo. You could tell from his last performance, he was confident. He was brass. He threw combinations he knew was going to land. He made a statement. I like to see that from fighters. It tells me that when their confidence is at a all-time high, that's when they play the best. And this game is confidence. MMA in real life is all about confidence. When you're the most confident, that's when you're untouchable sometimes. And that's when you see people go on these big win streaks and other stuff. And that's exactly what his opponent was. Jake Paul was confident. He coming off a 3-fight win streak. He was happy with his performance. And, Ricardo took that away, but not with that fight. Jake Paul did fantastic in that fight. And I think if he avoided some of them bigger rocks in that first round, he might have, that game plan kind of might have worked. But great job from Ricardo from dealing with that early and stopping it, get to a point where he couldn't kind of throw enough to hurt his opponent.
Yeah, no, exactly right. We'll have to see how the rest of the evening unfolds, but as you can see right here, we have the majority of the fights of the next round set to go. That will be FSK Fadnader up against KM Caliber, both guys putting on sensational performances out here, humble to get that position. Obviously then TMF, Manti D and Haroon once again, kind of a little bit more closely contested bouts, but getting their victories nevertheless. The current champion BFAP Trixie will be fighting FSK Jamie Bucks. And then of course Ricardo will be finding out who he is going to be fighting after this next bout, which is going to be between your dark horse of the entire Grand Prix, Pudgy, and KM Motown, or Motown's finest as he was more previously known. I cannot wait for this final bout of the right-hand side of the bracket, brother. I expect big things from these guys. Two very, very entertaining, dangerous men.
Oh my God, Pudgy! I love Pudgy so much. One of my good friends in the community of streaming, and he likes to bring those beans. That's his catchphrase. He likes to bring them in. But let's not joke about with it. Let's tell the facts as it is. Pudgy went 9-2 last season. If it wasn't for the fact he was unavailable last week, he would have fought for the Xbox World Championship against Trixie. He is one of those guys that has been killing it all season, and I think he's only lost 2 fights and won 9. He's been insane, unstoppable to beat. He beat the likes of Tadpole, and he's going to be fighting Motown, and Motown's no joke either. He's a KM boy, and that's pretty much all it is. And Motown, he never talks. He's not really a big talker. He goes away, comes back, and when he does come back, he makes an impactful statement, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to take this. But a personal favourite of mine in the tournament, because we're friends in real life, Pudgy, but this could go either way, do not doubt that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Motown's finest, like you said, being a KM boy says a lot from them. They've got an incredibly dangerous staple of fighters. Some of my old training partners train out of the KM side as well, and like I said, I expect big things, especially on the feet. M-Town's finest has shown that he can do it all, and that Nick Diaz is dangerous. I believe we've seen him bring that to the cage once in the past, but as you said, man, Pudgy is always handing out bean pies for everybody. Anybody can get that smoke, and he's going to be looking to turn up here this evening, put his name on the map, and if he's able to get the job done up against KM's Motowns, then that'll be a big statement for him moving into the next round. Will give him all the confidence he needs to continue to propel himself further into this event, but I think that's enough being said, my man. I think we're getting into this one. Cannonier, Nick Diaz, first time we've seen this matchup. I'm surprised not to see more Nick Diaz's, to be honest with you. I thought we would probably see a couple of them. Obviously, this is the first.
Yeah, he got slightly downgraded when he lost to Robbie Lawler. So one got upgraded, one got downgraded slightly. But he's a great pick if you can use him. It takes up a specific type of player to kind of use a Nick Diaz pick, and you've got all them kicks as well. So it'll be interesting to see which one of these guys comes out. And you've got a 9-2 guy on a 5-fight win streak versus a 5-3 guy on a 3-fight win streak. So Pudgy with a 5-fight win streak coming at 9-2, he's going to look to dominate. And he's 0-5 going into this. You've got to talk about that, Cyrus, because Motown's got the advantage at the moment, according to the record.
Yeah, no, exactly right. But once again, that doesn't often mean a great deal when the bright lights are upon you. That could have been training, it could have been anything, or it could just be an indication that you maybe have a little bit of a head and shoulders advantage on your opponent. M-Town's finest, looking to maybe show that he does here this evening, but has to be careful of Pudgy, man. This guy has hands like nobody's business, often finds the way to take his opponent's face off, and I imagine that's what he's going to be looking to do, and he's looking clean with his striking, Humble. The head movement's doing good, other than that big uppercut he just ate right there.
Yeah, I really like the southpaw, obviously, from Nick Diaz. He's come out here, and what it's done is give him a lead hook, and he's given him the 1-2 down the middle. And all he's got to do is watch his footwork, because Pudgy likes to kick. So he's in his face at the moment, chasing his opponent down, trying to catch his opponent when he's resetting, ready to kick with those punches. And he's doing it with some beautiful combinations, starting with a lead hook or a jab every time. And Pudgy's struggling to get around that at the moment, because he can't quite land his kicks. He can't quite find the timing, and that's what the battle is right now. And I've just noticed this on 5 rounds.
Oh, well, they've got 3 to get the job done, Humble. And I wouldn't expect these two guys to go past the 3rd round. May eat my words, I've done it before, but they often push the pace. They're always looking for that finish. Both guys are not the type that try to look for the decision, as you can see with this pace that they're setting. Maybe they hear this in the back and they've just turned it up that little bit of an extra notch.
What do we do if it doesn't? If it goes 3 rounds, that's the question. It's an interesting spectrum, because we've got to have a winner somehow. Someone's got to advance, so it's going to be interesting to see what our decisions ever happens. But it's a race against time. It's like one of those WWE matches where you've got the Iron Man clock ticking down at the moment. Both these guys have to hunt for a finish, guys. I'm willing them on, but it's a great fight nonetheless so far, and I've noticed the leg health from Motown. His right leg health is starting to go down, and it's great work from Pudgy to take away that lead step, the lead movement from Motown's finest.
Yeah, no, it would be a great kind of tool that he will be able to continue to employ, is going to be those kicks throughout the entire fight. I would imagine that leg health, as you said, is not fantastic from Nick, and if he continues to attack that right leg in particular, it could be mincemeat by the end of this very first round. And honestly, I just think that these guys so far have kind of stood in the center, throwing combination after combination. Anytime they kind of collide, the hands start to let loose, Humble. I don't know, bro. I don't know which way this one's going to go. They are absolutely unloaded. Look at that boxing, straight to the body, back to the head.
Beautiful work. All right, now, and he's just starting to unload, like you said, on his opponent, but you've still got great defensive movement from Pudgy. And what I really like about Pudgy, he tries to focus on certain things. He aims for a target and he damages it until it's hurt. And sometimes that's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a bit of your head health, but as soon as you start to make an effect with that, that's going to open other stuff. And Pudgy knows the importance of that. If you damage an opponent's leg, it opens up the body, it opens up the head, it opens up other stuff. And maybe he's starting to worry about that lead stance that we're talking about, and he wants to take that away. So Pudgy doing a great job so far of kind of trying to make his opponent adjust to him, but Motown's finest so far in this fight has kind of had the better of the exchanges in my opinion. Cyrus.
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree with you. We see the statistics right there. 17 significant strikes on the side of Motown's finest, definitely getting the lion's share of that thus far over the very first round. He's going to continue to push that. We do have round 2 and 3, not 4 and 5 to go left in this last fight of the right-hand side of the bracket. The stamina looking very good for Pudgy, but once again, that damage is really starting to mount up.
It is. He's still got that 98 power as well, which we've got to remember. It takes one kind of shot, and the big one comes right there as he nearly takes his opponent's skin off his face with his jaws. Pudgy, he's got those head kicks, and he's starting to like kicks. The leg kicks have just set up a head kick right there, but he can't get caught in these flurry of combinations, Cyrus. It's where he's taking the most damage at the moment.
Yeah, green, red, green, and what we're seeing out of M-Town's finest is any time it gets into that red zone, the hands are let loose. A nice takedown from Pudgy. An underrated element of his game is definitely his grappling. Don't see him employ it too often, but being 9-2, being in a position where he could become primetime champion here this evening. You've got to remember that we don't see him fight on the live cards too often because of his work schedule. This man took some time off for this, my man. I believe he came prepared here this evening, and he wants that gold. He is having all he can handle, though. KM is turning up here this evening. M-Town's finest. One of their representatives is doing just that as well.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, again, we were getting race against time, so these guys have got to work. They've got to put that thing in. And Pudgy, he did a great job of mixing up, taking to the ground, but he's give up position right now against the Nick Diaz as well. And this is going to be tough. If Motown can get to work right now and chip away at that head health, it's going to be tough for Pudgy on the feet when they do go back up there eventually, if it does.
Yeah, I mean, we've always got to remember as well with somebody like Nick Diaz, he does have some sneaky submissions in his back pocket, but not going to get an opportunity to implement them at this very second. Unless he gets another takedown, the mat return is there. A little bit of wrestling from Nick Diaz. Motown's looking pretty good, but once again, race against the time here, right? Not a lot of time to win.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to have to make a decision in the back, essentially. But hopefully it doesn't come to that as he goes for a great submission right now. And Pudgy, it looks like he's going to get out, but is he going to be smart? And it doesn't. Very clever from Motown's fighters. Didn't take the chain, would have given him a different position and got reversed as Pudgy was getting out right there. And I believe Pudgy was waiting for that, trying to bait him into it, essentially. Cyrus, you know, take the reversal, take the opportunity, and I'll reverse you, essentially.
Yeah, 50 seconds. He postures up. Seems to be very methodical, and I don't know if that's his best option here, bro. He was doing some good work on the feet. I'd like to see him maybe go for that separation, the last 30-second flurry. He seemed to be doing a lot of damage when he was getting those hands going, but he seems to be pretty content to ride out the rest of this round at this stage.
Yeah, he does, and who knows? Maybe it's a great decision because he's looking to finish him in the third. We don't know the actual strategic strategy of Motown's finest at the moment, but Pudgy's doing his best he can off his back, and these guys are going to come out, and they're going to have to put it on the line, Cyrus. Someone's going to have to win. Somebody's going to have to win. I'm just saying it. If they put us to a decision where we have to think about this, it's going to upset somebody. So don't put us to that decision, please. Do not put us to that decision. Come out and give it your all. Who wants it the most in this round? Who wants to go through to the next round and eventually fight the champion? One of you are going to have to decide in this round. It's going to have to happen.
It most certainly is. I mean, that second round was definitely out of M-Town's finest. He's potentially 2 up. He's going to push the pace here, I would imagine, in this third round. But the thing is, man, what does he do? Because he's lower in stamina, he's got an advantage in terms of head health, but Pudgy's stamina's so there that if he catches him just once cleanly, he has all of the gas that he needs to really, really pour it on.
Yeah, they've both got decent gas tank. That's the crazy thing as well. They've both got decent gas tank. Oh, big front kick to the face right there. And someone actually came up with a great idea as well. So we might be able to do that, is get one of them to taunt and knock each other out in the fourth and then see the scorecards. Oh, massive axe kick right there. This could be it. Motown's finest. Going after his opponent, trying to put the cap that we all said about it on.
Yeah,
nice
I mean,
work from Pudgy.
that axe kick has been problematic up against anybody that's fighting Nick Diaz on UFC 4. It's so dangerous, Humble. Catches and lands a lot of damage. M-Town's finest trying to capitalize, and there's still 3 minutes 20, and it looks like he's trying to, take the judges out of this one.
Yeah, he definitely is trying his best. These are 2 high-level fighters, and that's what we're getting right now. Might be a bit of rushness as well from Pudgy because he likes to work his way in the fight with that stamina. He knows he needs to kind of catch his opponent doing something wrong and walking into shots right now. So these 2, you don't want to make a mistake. As much as you need to go for the win, you also don't want to get knocked out so much on the line. I do understand it, but I want to see who wants it more, Cyrus. I want to see somebody take some risks because you're going to have to try and win this fight.
Oh, most certainly. Plenty of time to get it done. 2 minutes 25 in the third and final round. Stamina's fairly equal. Head health, not so much on the side of Clutch or... Oh my God! Pudgy gets it done!
Pudgy! Oh, Pudgy gets kicked to the face. Oh my God, and he doesn't get the ground and pound that he needed to do that with that stamina advantage that you keep talking about. But he does get some success, and that's important, Cyrus, because if he can continue with that, maybe he can finish his opponent. 1 minute and 45 seconds left.
You can lightning strike twice. Pudgy able to get a beautiful 2-strike combination to sit his opponent down, one to rock, one to drop. But my God, this is a close fight over the stretch now. The damage is adding up. He gets him again.
Oh my god, he's going back to the leg as well. He's trying to set him up. It's beautiful work right now from Pudgy. He switched to the leg finally, and this is the problem, isn't it? Now you've got to adjust, and Pudgy hasn't had enough time to kind of adjust to that, so he's got to try and get him. Oh, he's taken it down.
Why, Pudgy? Why? What have you got for the
Oh,
last 45 seconds? Oh, no. Is he going to get submitted? I mean...
No. They're going to make us go to the judges, Cyrus. I guess we're going to have to make one of them bow and knock each other out so we can see. I don't think... Wait there. Is this submission close? No, it looks like he's going to get out.
Yeah, it looks like the escape is imminent. Yeah, I mean, look, we're just going to have to see the scorecards. These guys are going to have to sort it in the back. It is very unfortunate, but...
Yep, so one of them's going to bow, I guess, and the other one's going to knock the other one out. It doesn't matter who. And essentially, we have to see the scorecards and then give it to whoever the judges did. Or we could just do this. No, we have to see the scorecards, don't we? We can't judge it based on our scorecards. We're going to have to do the... Oh, wait there.
No, you can't see the judge's scorecard no matter which way it went.
Yes.
So they're going to have to knock them out. We're going to have to judge it ourselves between the... Can't keep bowing. What is going on?
No,
this is what he's scheduled for.
No,
my man.
No, there's no point. There we go.
Kick him in the
Knock
face,
him out.
Pudgy.
Thank you.
you.
Here we go. So we get the judge's decision essentially because we're going to see the scorecards to see who they would have given it to on the scorecards, and then we can judge it from there. I hope to God it's decisive. I hope to God.
Can you imagine?
Oh my days.
Let's get it. We're about to see. Obviously, ignore the win-loss at the bottom. That means nothing. They are going to press start. Go to fight the statistic. Don't you dare quit.
Oh my God.
You want to go to the end statistics all round. That will be the judges' scorecards. They will still be there. That will give us the points round by round, and therefore our winner. Just going to wait for these guys, but... Obviously, need to know before we move on, before the next stage, brother.
Just show us the last page. I feel like he's going to quit before he shows us.
I know. And the message, I'm sure, is going through. The guys are quite clearly hearing us in the back, so they'll be relaying this message to...
It looks like to me that Motown's fight might have took the fight, but I can't say anything until I see the scorecards.
Yes, he did. That he did. M-Town's finest, 29-28 across the board. Unanimous decision. He wins that bout. Once again, a very fun fight. Unfortunate about the five-round side of things, but a very, very fun fight nevertheless. And once again, we wouldn't expect anything less between these two guys. They're humble. They always deliver, bro. They always deliver.
Yeah. They always do, and they never usually make mistakes like that as well. The two of the top guys. I've made that mistake before, so you can't. It sometimes happens when you're sparring with each other and you don't quite just forget. The nerves are high. People want to win this belt. People want to do well in this competition, and the £20 to the winner and the champion as well. It means a bit more cash in the one pocket, so you can appreciate that. But another decision, and essentially Motown moves on to the next round. He will be fighting Ricardo in a great fight, and I believe, Cyrus, we're going to take a short intermission before we come back and give you the last lot of fights this evening.
That is correct. We've got a 60-second to 2-minute intermission ahead of us right now, and then, of course, we're coming back straight with FSK Fadnator up against KM Caliber, two of the standout performances of that first round. Leading right through, of course, got the champion up defending his belt, so we will be back momentarily. Take this opportunity to grab yourself those refreshments, maybe a little bit of popcorn ahead of the absolute savagery that will be on display here later on this evening. Until then, we'll be right back. What is going on, everybody? We are back. Once again, I am your host, Cyrus the Looney. With me in the commentary booth is the one only Mr. Humble Dink. We are continuing with Season 3 of the Xbox Grand Prix. There have been savages after, savage fight after savage fight between these competitors. Fadinator and Caliber are the next two men up to try and get their, kind of next step towards that championship belt in primetime MMA. It is in featherweight, Mr. Humble, which is my personal favorite weight class to fight in. Those 4-star fighters are going to be on full display down here. A lot of great options to pick from.
100%, and welcome back. And what a story we've been telling so far. 8 fantastic fights. We've had an incredible season throughout this the last season that we had, where Fadinator went on an insane run, and the only person he was beat by was Trixie. And you can see each other, these guys on the opposite sides of the bracket, but just at the top, both just moving slowly towards each other. Cyrus, this is absolutely insane. If these two meet each other in the final, it is going to be incredible. And to stop that is KM Caliber. What a performance. He did not step a foot wrong in the Ginger fight. He was absolutely incredible. He's 3-0 if we're counting his full record through 2 seasons. 1-0 already in this season, and he gets to take out Fadinator. What a statement that would be, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, it most certainly would. This is a fight made for the ages, in my opinion. These two guys, I rate very, very highly. I think that every single one of these competitors to this stage, of course, now are in with a really, really good shot of winning that belt. But these two in particular stand out to me as kind of top-level opponents that are going to leave it all out here. I think the winner of this, is in a very, very good standing for the rest of the competition. I'm interested to see what they're able to do against each other, especially since I think that we're going to see Kelvin Cater, and I believe that Caliber was going to be mixing it up. I thought I saw a Cub Swanson pick a moment ago, which got me very excited, but he's now hovering over that Volkanovski, which of course is a big no-no at this stage, right?
Yeah, 100%. Make sure you pick a 4-star fighter, and he does. He picks Dan Ige, just as I thought. Caliber picking an incredible fighter, and I've seen this guy absolutely wreck people with this character in the primetime division. So it'll be interesting to see. Oh, I always look at it, Cyrus, and I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. But when you see a 5-0, we just seen it with Motown and Pudgy, and you've got to think, can Caliber live up to his caliber and come back against that 5-0 record that they've got?
Yeah, once again, when the lights are brightest, that is when diamonds are formed and shine. And that is what Caliber's going to try and do here this evening. Take out one of the... I believe he's the betting favorite from the poll that you put up earlier on this evening there, Humble, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God.
Am I right in saying Fad got the majority?
Yeah. Fadinator's beat by Trixie, like I said, every time he's played him, yet... Caliber, he came out with 21 people voting for him, and the champion was second with 11. So he had 10 people, absolutely insane. So Fadinator's gone on a mission, and that's what he's going to have to prove, though. But Caliber's been incredible, and Caliber could just take an absolute feather in his cap if he wins this tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, if he's able to take out the #1 betting favorite of this evening, then his confidence is going to be riding high for sure. Having a lot of shots landing on the block so far as KM Caliber, not able to mix in some of those kind of lunging takedown attempts that he normally does, or lunging feints that he normally does. A lot of those shots are bleeding through. Fadinator's dialed in with his boxing and looking very clean. Looking very clean indeed, Humble.
Yeah, and the reason he's struggling with the actual head movement and the stuff he was doing earlier on is because Fadinator's gauging the distance, picking his spots when to go in. Oh, what a transition we see right there. But also using kicks to kind of work his way in, and that's kind of a key to get into the pocket sometimes if someone's starting to bobble their head left and right a few times and move their head about. You've got to go to the body, or you've got to start with the kicks.
Oh my God. Caliber is really starting to try and turn it up here. He bled through that block and started landing some very, very good damage, but the former champ seems to have recovered. Maybe not. The mix-ups here, Humble.
Yeah, nice work. Give him something different to look at and mix it up. The rhythm changed from Caliber, and Fadinator struggled to deal with it there, but Fadinator needs to be careful. His stamina's starting to go a bit lower than Caliber, and I know there's some issues with Calvin Cater sometimes when I play with him especially, and I lose that bit of that stamina. He's not known for kind of missing a lot of shots, and when he does, that's when Caliber can pick his moments, and Caliber's doing a fantastic job so far of avoiding. Here we go.
Yeah, his defense is always something beautiful to behold. Is KM Caliber. He does a really good job of just being incredibly intelligent about the way he moves in the cage. Often finds himself in a stamina advantage as a result, and the mix up to the wrestling honestly is what normally separates him in the majority of these fights. As you see a beautiful little switch across into the half guard there, reading the transition beautifully.
Nice work though from Fadinero as he turns it around. He gets back into guarding. Now he is on top, and this is why he's a former champion. He's versatile. He mixes it up. He knows how to play every position, and that's what you've got to do if you want to be top on this game.
Oh, exactly right. I don't imagine he's going to want to stay down here for... Oh, never mind. There's only 10 seconds left, brother, so the ground and pound will continue. I mean, a great round. We're about to see the statistics. As you see, Fadinator eking ahead with about 6 more significant strikes in total. Although that stamina, as you mentioned, could become problematic if not addressed over the course of this fight.
And let's just talk about that round because it was super, super close. You had moments where Caliber looked like he was in control, and you had moments where Fadinator looked like he was on control. But the end of the round might have just edged it for Fadinator. But Caliber's not giving up. He's a chain wrestler. He will not give up on his takedowns. He'll work it. It's almost an ego boost. If someone beats him on the ground or does better than him, he wants to get one back. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now as Dan Ige gets straight onto it and he's riding his opponent around the octagon, Cyrus.
That he is. He is doing all he can, making sure that every single transition that he or his opponent do leads to something that's beneficial for him. As he does that lovely little transition again, it's just about making those small little reads, taking his time, being composed, and it's allowing him to get some advantages here in the second round with a lot of time to work.
Yeah, it definitely has. And look at this, he's moving now into side control, and it could be another round as well. Well, Caliber might want to try and even out. This is a 3-round fight, remember, so this is a bit different from what we're used to seeing between these sort of guys. These guys are used to main cards and main events, essentially, especially Fadinator, but beautiful kick right there.
Yeah, sorry,
Caliber.
I thought that was a rock for a moment, but no, they are working their body, just beautifully throughout the course of the evening, every single competitor, but Caliber, especially here in this fight as well, continues to dig to it and is having success as a result, starting to really capitalize on an early stamina advantage.
Beautiful work. Goes back to the body with that push kick. And we're starting to see Fadinator. One of the main things for Fadinator is that beautiful footwork as he cuts the angle off and he's starting to unload on his opponent and gets back to his feet. Great decision there because his head is still blinking. He's going to go after it. He is the Fadinator. He is the finisher. And that's what he's looking for right now against Caliber.
Oh, but the bodywork is being returned. He doesn't really care, though, at this stage. I don't feel bad. He just knows that that damage is mounting up on the face of KM Caliber, and he continues to try and bleed through as much as he can. I think that he just bets that that head health is going to disappear before the stamina is.
Oh, he needs to be careful, though, because he got pulled there, and Caliber was about to unload the uppercut from hell onto his chin, but he did a good job of backing up and gets one of his own right there. He's starting to land, and that's the key. You see moments of confidence for Caliber, and every time he gets a bit too confident, Fadinator fires back and starts to land on himself. It's a willpower battle right now, and both are pushing backwards and forwards. So it's a banger of a fight.
Oh my God! Oh my fuck! What the hell was that, Humble? What did we just witness?
I didn't see it. It was too quick. I didn't see it. It was too quick. I blinked and I missed it. That was insane.
Oh my God.
I thought he landed. He knocks him with the lead check left hook. He just cluck. Oh, beautiful. I didn't know what happened. I thought he got caught. He didn't get caught. He misses the elbow right on the chin, as I call it, dink.
That was on some other level, bro. I don't really know what to say other than GG's. Those guys really brought it in that fight. It was as entertaining as it could be for as long as it lasted, Humble, but ultimately the favorite of the evening advances one step further, and we see a very dangerous FSK Fadinator now put himself in a semi-final position, one step further and one step closer to getting that championship that's avoided him for a little while now.
And he had adversity in that fight as well. He had moments where he was struggling to kind of, dominate that position or dominate the entirety of that fight. And Caliber did a fantastic job of showing himself. He had his moments, but sometimes he just let kind of Fadner. Well, I don't think he let him. It was just a willpower of Fadner. Fadner's willpower on this game is absolutely extraordinary, and he constantly comes back, even when he looks like he's having a bit of a moment where he's getting caught a few times as the opponent's doing well. He then comes out of nowhere and gets one of the best kills you can get on the game at the moment.
Exactly right, man. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, that ending sequence was something that you're not often going to see, even from those guys. I mean, it was just a section where both guys said, let them rip, and kind of went with some absolute kind of crazy angle spinning kick. I honestly, I can't even remember. I'm going to have to watch that sequence back.
The Hail Mary he threw the Hail Mary straight at his chin, and guess what? It got fumbled, it got caught, it got intercepted, and that's where Fadner came in and he intercepted him with that beautiful left hook. And just to point out as well, the betting line for this, Fadner had 92% of people, and if someone put 63,000 K put on him. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is a favourite here this evening, continues to do all of his supporters very, very proud. That's 2 back-to-back performances that he is going to be able to hold his head very, very high about, I should say. The FSK boys as well, they're humble. I mean, that was another standout performance for him, and confidence has got to be booming as he moves forward towards that kind of main stage.
100%. We've got, 8 people left, and 7 people left, and 3 of them are FSK boys. So those guys are doing fantastic for their team. They've clearly been training together. They've been putting the work in. It's just going to be interesting if they end up meeting each other at one point. But the next fight, we've got one of the TMF guys representing through. He was fantastic in his last fight against BFAP Wobbsy. He didn't let him off the hook. He looked like a top contender. He looked like Fadner. He looked like Caliber. He looked like them when they were coming through as well. And this is going to be an absolute banger. But Matty D is looking to put on a statement. It looks like we're going to get the same matchup again. This is very interesting that both guys, with the choice you've got, Cyrus, it's very interesting both guys are picking these two again.
Especially in this weight, bro. Like I say, featherweight just has so many options. So many options.
It's madness.
But yeah, man, I mean, that's who they feel comfortable with, right? That's obviously who they play as. And
no, it's just, I mean, the logic or the chances of that happening is it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Well, the funny thing is, leading up to this fight, of course, we were talking about some of the big hype fights off, and this one maybe didn't get the initial mention. That wasn't because we didn't think this fight was going to be fantastic, as a few people mentioned in the chat, including Matty D himself. Make sure to keep your eye out on this one. They both do, they're highlight sort of fighters. They often end up with the finish. They're not exactly known for going the distance.
100%. And these two are going to try and put on a show. They said who's going to be fighting tonight, and these two said us two. So, that's going to be the interesting one. But we'll see, because there's been some fantastic fights so far. But I love the enthusiasm from Matty D. I love the fact he's gone in the chat and said, you need to pay attention to me. I'm here to win it. That's some confidence. You got to go out there and put yourself out there and tell people, watch me win this fight. And that's what I love to see, the confidence on this game. It's got to be high when you're at the top of the division.
Exactly right. And right now, Matty D's doing a good job of interrupting Scythe or Haroon as he continues to interrupt him with strikes, as Haroon is looking to counter. But it does seem very back and forth. Look at it from one side of the cage to the other. Just, pressure and presence seems to be completely pivoting from moment to moment.
And Haroon has these combinations where he'll throw certain combinations and they'll always land. It's just if he gets his timing right. Oh, beautiful head kick, and Mighty's down, and Haroon goes to work. He's got Calvin Keary, he's got him against the fence, and this is going to be tough for Mighty D. He needs to reset, he needs to circle out. He's in danger at the moment, Cyrus.
Yeah, I like the switching. I like the continued pressure. He's setting up that head kick and the body rip. The slip off straight from Haroon is there as well. Has to be careful not to walk onto something big, but the damage is definitely getting through here, Humble. And oh my God, he lets it rip.
Could be it. He's starting to pound on his opponent. He's going to be against the fence, Cyrus, and he's going to go again. Oh, beautiful work.
Yeah, the gas tank was empty on that one. Matty D went to the body. Nothing too much following it. Takes a couple of seconds to reset. The head tail still looking pretty decent for Ige at this stage in the fight, considering the amount of damage that Haroon managed to get off in that sequence. And he lands another one. Humble. Oh my God.
Oh, he comes back, Matty D hits him back, and Haroon means business. He's trying to take his head off. He wants to do it in spectacular fashion, and he's not letting Matty D off the hook at the moment. Matty D needs to find a way to survive this round and kind of reset, because Haroon is doing a great job with care at the moment. I was not expecting this. This is insane.
Yeah. My God, we see another pivot lunge a moment ago out of Matty D this time. Obviously something that people are continuing to add to their repertoire, and I have to say I'm loving the animation and the defense that's on display, but the offense is where it's at right here, Humble. Just non-stop action as they continue to empty the gas tank over the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, you've got to be careful of your Haroon as well, because if you're Matty D, you're starting to notice that he's whiffing a lot of shots as well as landing a lot of shots. And if you can make him miss a few and counter that body like right there, it's going to play dividends going into the second and third. So maybe Matty D's kind of noticed this and thought, you know what, I'm going to let my guy blow his load. And when he finishes, then I'm going to put on him and see how he deals with the pressure. But you can't take too much head damage. We've seen it time and time again, Cyrus. These guys don't survive. You still land a load of shots. Oh, my God.
That's got to be it. That's got to be it.
1 second.
Oh, my. By the skin of his teeth. I mean, that could play so much into his favor. If he's able to survive these opening couple of minutes here, Humble, he could be on to a winner. He had a stamina advantage, not so much right now, but I thought he was going to come out with a bigger stamina advantage, in all honesty, when I said that. But that was a big end to the round.
Still big. It only takes a few shots for him to kind of drop down. You're talking 3 or 4 pieces he's throwing, and he's getting caught at the end. And that's where, damn, Matty D's doing well now, and there's some amazing. Haroon, can he survive?
Matty D said not today.
He survives.
These guys all woke up choosing violence, quite clearly had their Weetabix and pouring it on. The energy seems boundless in this featherweight weight class here, Humble. The combinations are just, coming out from every which way angle.
Oh my God, this is insane. Are we going to see another switch? Is Haroon about to rally up Matty D? Because he's starting to push him back towards the fence. And I've noticed Matty D does better when he's going forward, when he takes that center of the octagon, when he doesn't allow Haroon to come forward. And Haroon's currently struggling with that. And every time he has him against the fence, he does fantastic. But the adjustment here from Matty D is, I'm going to come forward. It's simple as that. It's a great game plan against somebody who's kind of backing you up and landing.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially if he's able to time it after one of these big combinations and then pour on the pressure. He can continue to keep his opponent in like a cycle of stamina deficit. And of course, that block and head health is just not there, bro. It's just really not there for either guy at this stage.
It's not, but it's looking worse for wear at the moment for Haroon. Oh, my God, say anything. Oh, my D, can he survive? He gets caught with another one. He goes down. Haroon's going to try and finish him. This could be it. Haroon has finished Matty D. Oh, my God.
Well, wow. Another one in the box, Humble. It's hard to say too much other than that was a fantastic battle between two high-level competitors. Haroon, though, able to get just that little bit extra done here this evening and gets the finish as a result.
100%, and he gets to fight Fadinator in the next round as well, which is the ultimate prize, because well done, you fought Matty D, you beat him, now you get Fadinator. Look at that, Cyrus. It's like, you want to... You get past the first boss, and then the next boss is like, a massive figure in the division, and he's on an absolute tear. And what a fight that's going to be. Oh my God. A crazy fight. Crazy fight we just had. Crazy fight we're about to have. Insane. What a performance from Haroon.
Yeah, I was impressed with that. And honestly, from both guys, they both showed really, really good, show-ins of themselves here this evening. It was razor thin throughout the entire thing, in my opinion, and then of course able to get the job done at the very end. But as you said, that does now take us on to the very next one, my man. That is going to be the current reigning champion, the next title fight of the evening. Once again, BFAT Trixie was the champion of last season, and he will defend his belt each stage that he is able to, up until the very final or until somebody takes it from him. Right now, he's up against a man that had a sensational performance to start off here, Humble, and quite clearly his confidence is going to be riding high. It needs to be to get the job done in this 5-round title fight.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the tools that people need to beat Trixie, Jamie Bucks has all of them, and he's undefeated at the moment since he's joined Primetime. He went 4-0 last season. He's currently 1-0 this season after beating his last competitor, and it was a great performance from him. But Trixie's no joke. Trixie's the champion for a reason, and Trixie is looking at that other side of the bracket. He's seeing Fadinator there, he's seen Haroon there, and that rivalry between Fadinator and Trixie, you've always got to talk about it because they are the two favourites coming into this tournament. But if I'm Jamie Bucks right now, I've got nothing to lose. I'm undefeated. I'm coming in with confidence. I'm not giving Trixie a moment. I'm coming after him. I'm going to try and take him out as soon as I possibly can.
I think you make some excellent observations. These are 0-0 going into this one. Once again, being a title fight, these are the only fights where the four-star fighter does not kind of extend, kind of something that we actually used to do just kind of while we're on the point as these guys take a couple of moments to get themselves ready to go. It's actually something that we used to do back in the day there, Humble, a little while ago. 4-star fighters up on the prelims and the early card. Main card, you start to move into 5-star fighters, of course. Used to be a little bit different on UFC 3 since the rating system worked a little bit differently, but we'll have to see kind of how the community likes it as a whole, because it's nice to see a little bit of a variance in the fighters as we're about to see a Max Holloway mirror match.
Oh yeah, 100%. You don't, on a normal card we see this a lot, but these cards we decided to be 4-star. We had a discussion between all the matchmakers, and we said to each other, like, the champion deserves to be able to fight under his normal conditions. He's the champion for a reason. If he's defending his belt, he should defend it under championship conditions. You wouldn't see that anywhere else in UFC. So we replicated that, and Trixie gets to go into this fight confident with his featherweight fighter of Max Holloway. But Jay Bucks, having the same character, he's going to have all the same tools. He's going to have all the same the attributes that he is, so he's not at a disadvantage.
No, exactly right. They both get the same advantages going into these bouts, so it's kept very, very even. But of course, then gives us the viewing pleasure of a kind of a multitude of fighters, we hope, over the course of this event as a whole. But that's enough being said, brother. 5 rounds is ahead of us on this title fight. The current champion in the blue corner, I do believe, looking to poke at the body of Jamie Bucks. And I feel like Jamie's trying to answer back, trying to stand his ground in moments, but kind of getting at a little bit too much in this opening going for his liking.
Yeah, and this could be a slow pace as well. Trixie gets to fight under that 5-round pressure, and in 5 rounds he fights better. That's the thing. He's actually a better player under those 5 rounds because he gets better as the fight goes on. When he makes the reads, when he makes the adjustments he needs to, when he's decided, I know what I'm going to do, that's when he pauses on his opponent, and he gives him more time to kind of study and be less patient than he needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. These guys very, very much poking. One of the things as well that Trixie actually kind of pointed out to me many, many moons ago is that switch stance jab that Holloway seems to have. It's a beautiful little sequence, can interrupt your opponent very, very well. I don't think he's going to try and implement that here this evening. It's a little bit flashy up against Jamie Bucks, who quite clearly is game as they come.
Yeah, it's nice work, though. He's doing a beautiful job of doing a jab leak body kick, though, and that's kind of offsetting the rhythm of his opponent just as well and kind of stopping those barrage of punches coming back. It's a great job. It also stops any sort of head movement that your opponent wants to do. So he makes him wary. We're constantly looking at Trixie, giving his opponent looks, and this is what he does. He paints a picture, and you have to kind of read that picture and follow that picture, and when it starts to get messy, that's when he takes over.
Yeah, exactly. I like what I'm seeing so far from the champion, though. He does seem very, very composed. That first fight quite clearly managed to exercise some demons and really go ham on his combinations. But wow, yeah, I was going to say that those are starting to bleed through. Jamie Bucks, when he starts to connect, he gets into a bit of a kind of a forward momentum that is hard to break. Jamie really does kind of get into that tempo that is hard to offset.
Yeah, definitely. And he's starting to pick the leg apart as well, which is really nice. I like it when fighters, I said it earlier on, pick a limb. Oh, and he gets the block right there. He's actually doing it through blocking the opponent's Trixie's leg strikes. And that's something I noticed about Trixie as well. Doctor pointed out to me that when I watched the Fadinator fight back, so when he watched him as well, we noticed that he goes to the leg a lot. He tries to pick his opponent's leg apart. And maybe that's something Jamie Bucks has picked up training for this fight, or even thinking about fighting Trixie.
So that's the thing about being a champion for as long as somebody has Trixie has. All of his opponents, right, they're going to be so well versed with his style and what he brings to the table, the way that he likes, to kind of take the fights, his tendencies. And so far, nobody's been able to take that away from him, even with all of that tape out there. Obviously, Jamie Bucks feels like he has the answer. He's looked fantastic so far here this evening, and quite likely stole that very, very close round with that leg check.
Yeah, I don't know, because it was such a close round, as you said, but as this fight goes on, that's going to be an interesting aspect, because is he going to take it out with his tool, or is he going to risk getting another check? Because Jamie Bucks seems to be well onto that, and he seems to be well versed. We'll see, because Trixie's such a clever fighter, he might use that to his advantage. At the same time, Jamie Bucks is going to have to stop some of the damage raining through and kind of bleeding through his block, because he is getting caught quite a lot, especially to the body and the head as well.
I think the thing that makes there's different fighters, right? Some people like to intuitively do the things that they do. Some people like to calculatively make the adjustments in their mind mid-fight. Trixie is the kind of the first half of that. This man does everything intuitively, and he is absolutely connecting with vicious intent in this second round. Historically, his best round, Humble, and he's looking to continue that trend. A lot of time to working already on early rock.
And if you think about the concept of using a Max Holloway, this is kind of perfect because that's exactly what Max Holloway does. He ropes his opponent into the later rounds, and the second round isn't even that late, and he starts to take over. And by the time he gets to the third and fourth and fifth, your stamina's gone, your body health's gone, your head health's gone. There's nothing you can do, and that's when he starts to come alive. That's when he starts to unload. But it seems for Trixie, he has come alive early, and Jamie Bucks needs to answer this with violence again, because Jamie Bucks cannot be on his back for too long. He can't take many more rocks, and he needs some offense of his own, Cyrus.
110%, my man. I mean, this is once again what the champion does, right? He got the second round off to a great start. Now taking it down and testing a little bit of a different element of his opponent's game. Maybe he feels that he has advantages down here, and being a Max Holloway mirror, it kind of takes away some of the concerns that your stamina is going to maybe burn a little bit faster than your opponent.
Oh, big body shot. Yeah, and you're completely right. He was chipping. We talk about it all in nearly every fight that we've had. With anybody grappling, they've just been chipping away at their opponents. They understand the knocker might not be there to finish them, but they're just going to try and gain the edge into the later rounds. And that's kind of the difference between a good player and a great player, because a great player will understand those moments, are key to winning a fight overall. And Trixie does a great job of doing that. He never shies away from the ground game, and he will try to get an advantage wherever he needs to.
No, I don't know even if he would like this comparison, but quite honestly, I think Trixie is the closest that we've ever seen on this platform to a GSP sort of figure. He can really do it all. He trains with some of the best grapplers in the world. People see him work his striking in the majority of his fights and knock the majority of them out, but they always seem to forget that this guy has got this in his back pocket, Humble, training with the likes of Jakey B that we saw earlier on, Slick Colt, and and the like Dirty Dave and so on. Just puts his pedigree of grappling up there, and look at this ground and pound.
Oh, what the hell? He has just unloaded that Cater-like combination that he did, but he did it in the form of ground and pound. That was absolutely insane. These guys are absolutely killing each other. Trixie, I've never seen a 9 or 10 punch combination from a ground and pound there for Cyrus, but I just did. Trixie showing us things we don't see on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, look, after a very close first round, look at that second round from the champion. He really, really kind of went out there with a point to prove in the second round, and maybe just trying to test his opponent's confidence, because that's not going to feel great, right? You've taken a little bit of a beating. You spent a long time on the ground after getting rocked on the feet. So he's probably going to come out here with a little bit of a point to prove, as Jamie Bucks, which could be his undoing, Humble.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Jamie now, because Trixie's got so many things he can throw at him, and it's just all about looks. It's all about giving your opponent different looks. He's got to be careful, though, Trixie. He's got to kind of keep it relatively... he still could get knocked out, essentially. He could still get hurt, and the fight could swing, so he needs to keep it relatively basic and keep doing what he's doing, because he has been just unloading on his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually still in a relatively good spot, though, is Jamie Bucks, on the receiving end of a lot of damage, of course, but stamina still pretty good. Block is still up there as well. Just has to be a little bit more aware of some of that damage coming his way, because Trixie keeps catching him on the entry. So maybe some feints. I don't really know what the answer is here, Humble. It's hard to solve that puzzle that is BFAP Trixie.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's just starting to go back to the jab. Doctor actually talks about this quite a lot as well, and he's always right about it. The best fighters in the world use the jab a lot. They keep their opponent there. They dictate the fight, and the jab is an incredible tool. In boxing, people will tell you that's the main tool that you should kind of use. If you can control someone with your jab, you can control the fight, and that's exactly what he's doing. Everything comes behind that.
No, exactly right, and I think it's what makes him such a high-level fighter. Don't get me wrong, Jamie not out there, but of course just having so much adversity at this stage. An excellent observation made from somebody in the chat to you, Humble, is that every round that Trixie seems to compete against his opponents, their odds of winning seems to go down. As he gets to the latter end of this third round, potentially seeing championship rounds ahead, he is just looking on fire.
Yeah, definitely. Risk-free, I'd call it.
Yeah.
He manages to hurt his opponent, do a load of damage without taking too much back as well. It's really hard when you're a Max Mirror, because you both have the same ability, and he gets him rocked again, and he's just taking his time. He's picking, he's waiting for his opponent to move, and then the knockout comes. Third round finish for Trixie. Incredible. And another defense of his title, and that means he goes forward into the next round. Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, look, people were doubting him leading into this one a little bit as well. They've got his old pal Fadnader winning this entire thing, but Trixie showing once again that he is as dangerous as they get, brother, as he moves one step closer to, kind of reconfirming himself as the champion going into this new season.
Yeah, definitely. Just incredible. Like, he didn't really take his foot off the gas. Dealt with his opponent really well and just picked him apart. That's the best way you can do that. It was literally like a pick and mix. He was taking what he wants. He was grabbing the sweets he needed to, and eventually he put his opponent out there and he emptied the bag. You can't deal with that. It's so hard to deal with. You have to go first. You can't be reactive to him, and it's not easy as well. Me saying that, armchair commentating, it's one of the hardest things to deal with because he puts you in that position. That's how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody that's had the opportunity and pleasure of not only sparring but competing against Trixie, I can tell you that that guy is something else on this game, and he is going to be trouble for anybody he matches up against. We're about to find out, talking of that, who is going to actually be matching up against him next. Two other very, very high-level competitors out here that also have a lot of support garnered within the community, Humble. We're going to have the owner of FSK Ricardo, for the vibes, if you will, up against KM's very own M-Town. I mean, I'm sure you're as hyped as I am for this one, bro.
Yeah, the Ricardo R-bomb that he keeps from the overhand right. And just a quick shout out to Nigel Army as well in the chat for coming back to Primetime this week. I know that's happening, but fantastic to have everybody supporting us today. If you do want to join Primetime, make sure you click on the link that will get put in the chat soon, and make sure you get your bets in as well for these guys. But let's talk about the fight. Motown's finest just come off an upset, in my opinion, over Pudgy, even if he was 5-0, because of the Primetime records. The Primetime records from last season, that's what we go by, that's what we judge on. We don't judge on ranked fights or spars or anything like that. And Pudgy had been dominating at 9-2. And KM Motown didn't have the greatest of records, but he came in there and he proved that he is one of the elite guys in the division. And Ricardo has a chip on his shoulder. He's knocked out 2 TMF boys in a row. Can he knock out a KM1 with another overhand? Who knows if he does this? Like he said in the chat, please put it into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, look, he's coming out here with a point. But Arnold Allen seems to be his pick. Across from him is Yair Rodriguez. This is an entertaining bout. The kicks on the side of Yair, the speed all round is going to be something beautiful to behold. But that power on Arnold Allen, people forget he comes from a family of strong men out here, Humble, and that kid can pack a punch.
That fight makes sense in real life, and I want to see it right now. I can't wait. I'm not the best with Arnold Allen, but I know there's a lot of top people. I know Swab Jamie was in the chat. You were talking about how people use some of the top players use Arnold Allen. Yair Rodriguez, though, is a fantastic specimen on this game. He's a lot like the Anthony Pettis pick. You got to be careful because he has got a lot of flashy kicks, and you can kind of get rid of a lot of that stamina in this one. So it'll be interesting to see how Motown plays him. I've noticed with great players, when they use these sort of characters, they are absolutely deadly. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
Well, just on the point that you were making in terms of the kicking, obviously on the side of M-Town's finest, I've noticed, especially as of recently, that of course boxing is just a much more efficient way of keeping that stamina up. It's the trickery of the kicker that catches their opponents off guard there, Humble, and it's about whether or not M-Town finest is going to be able to do that up against somebody like Ricardo, who is quite clearly well-versed in the game, feels very confident no matter where the fight goes at this stage. And as you said, with a chip on his shoulder, that is sometimes the added incentive that you need to really rise to the top.
Yeah, it definitely is. A chip on your shoulder gives you something to fight for, gives you motive, it gives you ambition, it gives you drive, and we're going to get to see it from Ricardo to see if he's going to have the drive to kind of take on Motown's finest, because he's got a tough task and a tricky striker in front of him as he starts to unload. They both beat in the center of the octagon, and he's looking for space right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing on the side of FSK Ricardo. He's getting in there, in on the inside, landing some good shots, some short lead hooks, jabs and straights to go behind them, and of course that body mix-up to go behind. But he's done a good job of stepping out to the distance up until that flurry right there of M-Town's finest. My God, is he coming to life, pressing that Y and X a couple of times in sequence and just absolutely blistering some combinations.
getting fired back as well by Ricardo, but obviously, you know, the grappling as well, you've got to think, is Ricardo going to be using that grappling to kind of put more down on his back? And let's not forget as well, as Gucci keeps reminding me in chat, this is for another number one contender fight, because the winner of this is going to be fighting Trixie for the belt, so it's just that little bit much on the line. These guys are going to get a shot at the title so early in the season, but you know, that's the tournament structure, that's what's going to happen. So who's going to take it, who wants it more, we're going to find out.
I think it adds a little bit extra to these events when you've got the title on the line, and I think that these guys are going to be feeling it right here. Not only are they trying to take that step forward, but like you said, an early opportunity to get themselves recognized as the champion if they're able to get through this one and the next, of course. They're up against tough opposition, though, Humble, as we're seeing just in this bout. Both guys highly competitive, making sure that a lot of damage is landing pretty much on the button.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure they're accurate shots, no shots missed. That's what they're trying to do at the moment. They don't want to waste their energy, and you've got to be like that if you're Rodriguez. If you're Allen, you're looking to bait, you're looking to feint, you're looking to try and make Motown's finest kind of whiff some shots so you can kind of get in there. We've seen that formula all night tonight, and it'll be interesting to see if Ricardo does that or mix up the wrestling. You know, Allen's known for his wrestling. He's quite good, even if he is an Englishman. And the upwards elbow comes there, just misses by an inch, Cyrus.
Yeah, very, very close. You can see M-Town Finest starting to get into that flow state I was talking about in the very first fight that he had. When this kid gets, or guy gets into the flow, when he starts to land those hands, you just don't know which way they're coming from, and it just seems to be a never-ending flurry. Quite honestly, it seems a little bit superhuman, but he finds a way time and time again, and Ricardo is having a little bit of an issue here, and that damage is starting to add up pretty quickly by my measure here, Humble.
Yeah, it definitely is, and Ricardo just missing right there. It's just the character, like, it depends how he's going to use him, and it's difficult to deal with someone with such good movement in Motown's finest, and he's using the character really, really well. He's gaining that space, he's landing shots at range, he's getting in and out, and he's using the space behind him. The space behind him is what's keeping him where he is at the moment, and that's what you've got to take away if you're Ricardo.
Exactly right. Ricardo is as kind of, you know, savvy as they get, though. He will get a little bit tricky out there if he needs. I just feel like he needs to settle in, maybe take these 60 seconds to discuss with his cornerman on the adjustments that he needs to make, because it's the boxing, really, isn't it, bro? It's the boxing and really that forward pressure. He was having a lot of success when he was the one going forward in that first stage. Yeah,
he definitely did, and that's the thing, like, look at the head health, though. It's very, very similar going into this one, so even though Motown's finest looked like he had a few shots, the damage, the head health, everything looks pretty much even at the moment. So maybe Allen was doing better than we thought. Sometimes you can only watch, you can only pay attention to some things at the time. So who knows, maybe Ricardo did well in that round, but Motown's finest seems to be landing a lot more of the significant combinations in his favour for my part.
And as you say it, he lands an absolute devastating sequence of strikes, able to sit down Ricardo. He decides to follow it up, and he's shown in the past here, Humble, that he is not opposed to getting the job done on the mat. Going to be tough up against FSK Ricardo, and he decides to separate. Probably a good choice on that, on the Rodriguez side.
Yeah, I'd have done the same. It's just a case of you were too close to the fence when you got him down, and then, you know, you give him a shot, you give him a chance to see if his grappling is up against yours when you're already winning the fight. You don't have to answer other questions when you're already answering the one really, really well. That's taken place throughout the majority of the fight.
1-2 straight down the barrel, continues to fire, but I think that, just to go back to a point, I do think the Yair is definitely landing the absolute kind of massive percentage of strikes in this bout, but we've got to remember that Allen is the guy that's got power in those hands, and every time he lands, it's like 2 or 3 of the shots that M-Town's finest is landing, as you see his head getting very close to the finish line right there.
Yeah, he definitely does, and these guys are starting to fight back. We're starting to see the onslaught and the aggression, the power, the will of Ricardo. Ricardo's starting to utilize the jabs to get his block down, and then he's coming through with some beautiful shots afterwards as well. It's swinging backwards and forwards. I do not know who's going to win it, Cyrus. It's been an incredible fight so far, and adjustments the key.
Getting very, very close to some big shots landing right here. The stamina starting to wane a little bit. Side on the corner of Allen.
He's got it.
Oh my god.
Big shots right there. He's got no head health left. Can he get any sort of finish, apart me? Got him against the fence right now, Cyrus, and he's got a minute left to work.
Yeah, I mean, a gentle breeze would have knocked Allen out if it was rightly timed just a couple of seconds ago. M-Town's finest capitalizing with that takedown there. Obviously got a lot of time to work, and I think this is probably now the right time where he would want to engage in this position, right, Humble? He can get a lot of ground and pound off. There's only 45 seconds left to go, so worst if he gets reversed, he's not going to spend an eternity on the mat.
No, he's not. He's got to watch out for his stamina, because obviously, you know, the stamina's played a factor so far, but starting to do some work on Alan, and, you know, that's the key, just chipping away. We talked about it earlier on with Trixie, and he ends up getting easy KOs because of it, and beautiful KOs, but easy because of the groundwork that he's done. And it looks like Ricardo at the moment is trying to will his opponent into something. Doesn't quite work, but I love the trickery of the misdirection right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And obviously something to kind of keep in mind, we spoke about it at the beginning of the fight, I'd like to bring it to your attention as we go into the latter end of this fight, is those kicks of Yair, of course, are, you know, creative is an understatement. He still has the stamina to really get a little bit wild and unorthodox should he want to, and that could be a little bit of a mix-up and change of pace that he could lean on as we get into this third round, because he's kept it very, very kind of clean and technical thus far.
Yes, he has, and we're going to see if he does unload, or is he just going to start picking his opponent apart. Maybe took a leaf out of Trixie's book in the last fight, but Ricardo is getting dropped, and it could be it. This is it. Ricardo survives. Incredible.
He's been in deep waters before, has Ricardo. He is here for the vibes, but also for the belt. These guys obviously trying to advance in this competition, and that was almost taken away from Ricardo right there, Humble, but he is hanging on for dear life. Still a lot of time left on the clock as well.
Yeah, not a lot of overhands he's through yet, so we'll see if he keeps getting back up and trying to do that, but this position could be it. You talked about a gentle breeze so far, but so far this round he has been a hurricane, Cyrus.
That he has. The head health is just eternally blinking right now, and with this position, obviously from M-Town's finest, he's going to be able to ride out, and no matter where he goes, there are ground and pound opportunities available to him. Honestly, he's going to be feeling very, very good about his chances of winning this entire thing, but I would urge him to not rest on his laurels and to take the opportunity to get some ground and pound and potentially seal the deal. That head health's non-existent, Humble. A couple of shots is all it's going to take.
Yeah, he's going to try and do it, though. He's got 2 minutes and 40 seconds to work, so just chipping away, eating away that ice cream, and when he gets back up, he's going to numb it all down, basically. But Ricardo, he's still not out of the fight. I don't care what anyone says. Unless he's out of the fight, he's out of the fight. But
this might be it, bro.
Yeah, this could be it. Could be it. But unless you finish him, he's still in the fight, and you still got to worry about it. And this is close. He's going to get the chance to throw strikes, and now Ricardo is in trouble. He is starting to panic slightly. Oh, Cyrus, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, this is basically done, my man. M-Town's finest. Now switching him across, gets the tap out of Arnold Allen. Highly, highly competitive bout, start to finish, but M-Town got into that kind of flow state that we were discussing a little bit earlier on this evening when it hit the mat. That stamina advantage too much for Ricardo to deal with. The back flat, the rear, or the naked choke, or the rear naked choke was absolutely beautiful. But let's remember that he set it up with, what was it, maybe a 6-punch combination, just perfectly timed. Hit his opponent maybe 3 times on the way down as well. It looked very, very good. M-Town maybe trying to take this home for KM at this stage, bro.
Yeah, 100%, and not just that. He now gets to fight for the championship. And think about what he just did. He had the first submission on the card. He dominated his opponent in the sense of most of the fight was majority. He was kind of winning that fight, apart from some of the rocks. And, he did have some adversity there. And that's what he's got to be watching out for Trixie. But he also showed another element of the game. He's also just submitted somebody and kind of shown that he has another element that nobody kind of knows about. Nobody knows how good M-Town's finest has been this season because he hasn't had a chance to show it too much. But in that fight, he definitely shown it, and he went for the correct techniques and ends up getting the submission in the third round. Should Trixie be worried? That's the question.
Well, I mean, I think that every single one of these guys here this evening stands a great chance of getting their hand raised, quite honestly. Like I said, there's no easy fights, Humble. There's just simply no easy fights, and we saw it again here, this, in that one right there. It was hyper competitive as long as it lasted, which was basically until the very, very end. But KM M-Town's finest, even. Once again, it's got to be riding very, very high in terms of confidence levels at this stage of the card. Going into that next stage, now has the opportunity to get himself gold in terms of primetime gold, that is, Humble, and get that belt from, obviously, BPAP Trixie, should he be able to get through that next semi-final stage.
Yeah, 100%. And look at the bracket now. 2 dominant forces at the top in Fadinator and Trixie, and then 2 slight underdogs, but being absolute nothing but impressive so far in Haroon and KM M-Town. These guys have got it going up against it because they're fighting the 2 giants, the juggernauts, the absolute killers of the top of that division, the number 1 and number 2 seeds. So this is going to be incredible. And Fadinator here, he wants to come out here, he wants to put a performance on. He's been nothing but dominant, but he did have some adversity against Caliber. Can Haroon recreate the chaos that he had in his last fight? Can Haroon stop Fadinator from going to fight in the championship for the title? Can Haroon do it? We're about to find out.
Yeah, these guys are literally shedding those kind of final pounds as they move around these weight classes. But I have to say, as you perfectly teed up, brother, that this is a beautiful matchup between 2 incredibly well-versed competitors. We've seen Fadinator at the top for a very long time. Haroon has been in or about those talks as well. One of the main reasons that we continue to see him in these highlighted spots on the cards, of course. I expect, quite large things. When you have 2 guys that are so well-rounded, you often see a complete array of skills being displayed there, Humble. And I think that whoever ends up being the most well-rounded is going to be ultimately the one that's able to walk away with this victory. Sometimes it's about specialties, but I think in this one it's about how well-rounded they are and who's able to implement that.
Definitely, you can get your bets on now. I think there's 20-some seconds left before it closes. But as you were saying, the most well-rounded so far, Fadinator has been incredible, but Haroon's been putting it on his opponents. He's a fantastic grappler. I'd like to see him use it more, but he's a fantastic grappler. And you can see right now, though, these 2 fight a lot and they know each other so well. So this is going to be very interesting with the amount of time they've played each other. Usually these start pretty quickly. But we'll get to see. And we've moved to a different weight class. And the new weight class is 4-star. And it's our bantamweight. So this is going to be incredible. The 4 stars of bantamweight. Always fantastic. You got Sean O'Malley, Dominic Cruz, Cody Garbrandt, Frankie Edgar, Reno Barao. There's just a rare people
yes.
it could be.
This is the matchup that I wanted to see, and I know one guy in the back will definitely wanted to see. It's our personal favorite matchup. The Sugar Sean O'Malley up against Cody Garbrandt, boxing up against that beautiful kind of kickboxing style that Sugar Sean O'Malley brings to the table. This should make for an incredibly entertaining bout, Humble, between 2 guys that are quite clearly down to throw some hands in this position of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, definitely, and this is kind of what you want to see, the long reach of Sean O'Malley, and that's going to be the problem. But Fadinator wants to get to that belt, he wants to get to the championship, he wants to fight his nemesis, his 4 Trixie. So is he going to come out tonight and put an absolute whipping on Haroon, or is Haroon going to shock the world to try to beat Fadinator going forward in this fight?
Now, I know that it's a little bit pixelated, but of course you can see the colourful hair of Sugar Sean O'Malley. That is Haroon. On the opposite end is Fadinator, the current favourite to win the entire thing as far as the betting line goes. Doing a great job so far, slipping off that centre line and countering. But, oh my God, sits him down. Cody's got that power, brother. You've got to go a little bit Garbrandt, just not full Garbrandt.
Yeah, definitely. You can't go full Garbrandt. You never go full Garbrandt. Tropical thunder, great stuff. Anyway, nice work. Gets caught there. Uppercut coming through.
Yeah, he is making light work of Haroon at this stage in the competition. Gets his back taken. This is a dangerous spot for the favourite to be in. Ooh.
Now, right there, nice work. These guys, that's the thing as well about Haroon. I noticed he's got a fantastic grappling portfolio, and he's just done fantastically well so far in the first couple of fights he's had as well, especially against Moffat, man. That was an array of groundwork, and he did dominate, but it's the case of what can he do against Fad with Sean O'Malley, Cyrus. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, look, this fight, I can't imagine that they continue to grapple. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. They get a separation here, and I think that this is going to reset the action straight back to the striking. You've got to fight long with O'Malley. You've got to use those feints. You can't just be plodding forward because, I mean, look, Fadinator is going to continue to beat you to the punch with those straight shots, that beautiful head movement. Cody's just too fast, brother.
Yeah, he's quick. He's got a lot of power as well, but he has got a weak chin, and that's where Haroon usually takes advantage of his opponents. He tries to do a great job of kind of landing when he needs to. And if Garbrandt gets, if the fight gets, too over with it, complacent with his strikes, he's going to get caught. So he's got to be careful. But he's landing a array of punches at the moment, and Haroon looks in trouble.
Yeah, he's backed up against that cage. Now absolutely getting smashed under the weight of Fadinator. Top mount and ground and pound closing out the show almost. But once again, Haroon is able to survive and get that separation, Humble. The action continues, bro, for seconds. Woo.
You know, the separation happened, but now Fadinator's trying to separate the fist from Haroon's face, and he survives again. Insane, but Fadinator's come out absolutely on a mission, Cyrus. He's not giving anybody a chance.
Look, when he realized the support he had within the community, that gave him the extra confidence and the extra motivation he required, Humble, to get his hand raised here this evening. He's taking no prisoners, brother. He is pushing that action.
Oh my God, and that's a relief for Haroon. That's a relief for Sean O'Malley. That's a big giant breath going back to the corner, because Fadinator was all over him that round. Potentially should have got the finish, and Haroon needs to do something drastic. He can't come in with the same game plan, but what he can do in this one,
Nothing, brother.
Oh my days.
Y'all want to see a dead body? Courtesy of Fadinator. That hook was all it took, Humble. It was all it took. Out on the canvas.
That hook was, I love it. It was a lovely hook. It was a beautiful hook. I call that a peach. Perfection. Fadinator was incredible in that fight, and he moves to the final. Fadinator's on a mission. He wants the belt, and you know he wants it off. We're going to find out next if that's going to actually happen, because we have Motown to fight Trixie for the belt, and Motown could shock the world and upset everybody in primetime, because we all want to see Trixie versus Fadinator again. But I cannot wait for the next bout. That fight was insane, but Fadinator's like accelerated it. He said, get us to the final. He's got a chance at the belt and a chance at 20 quid as well.
That he does, brother, that he does. I mean, he's been in that position a couple of times, but not really behind the sort of series of events like you said at the very beginning. He is well and truly warmed up at this stage. He's looked better fight after fight, Humble, and now he finds himself in a fantastic position. He will be one of two men to enter that cage for the belt come the end of this event. Who will be facing him? Will it be the current reigning champion, BFAP Trixie, or of course the man currently challenging that belt in a 5-round title fight? Up next, and that is KM's very own M-Town's finest, a man that has kind of rise to the occasion here this evening and really excel past all the odds to get some fantastic performances start to finish off.
Yeah, definitely. Look who he's beat. He came out to beat Pudgy. I rate Pudgy so highly, especially this season. He's done so well, like we talked about earlier when he was 9-2. He came out and dominated most people, beat Moffat Man as well, and he potentially should have been fighting Trixie for a title shot last week. But Motown's ran through him. He's gone through Ricardo, and now he's about to face the champion. He's got his opportunity where he can go in there and shock the world, and he does have wins as well on Trixie, so you can see that there. So they're going to go with the Peter Yan versus Robert Font pick, the one you see a lot. And we'll just remind the audience again, as we do every time Trixie's fighting, he is the champion of primetime from last season. He's defending his belt this season, so he will go 5 rounds. He will get to pick a fighter he wants, and he will fight under his conditions as he would normally as a champion. There's no way we're going to give that guy a disadvantage, or the champion essentially a disadvantage. You've got to show that guy respect for what he's done last season. And now we get a fantastic fight.
Mate, he is not wasting any time. That little trip was available for Trixie. Decides to test the all-round grappling abilities of M-Town's finest. Says, I saw that submission, Humble, and I will raise you, take you straight down to the mat, ground you out, and maybe get a submission of his own.
Yeah, I love it. Just take him down. Do not let him go. Motown's finest, his asset and his best attribute is on his feet. We talked about GSP earlier, and I think he might have heard you mention that as well, because he is playing up to that role. He's being GSP. He's noticing the danger and then taking his opponent out of that danger and saying, well, deal with my danger, deal with me picking you apart on the floor. We've got 5 rounds to work. Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir. The switch kick to the body is available for the champion as well. Currently, M-Town's finest having a little bit of an issue getting into his, kind of groove, so to speak. But as we've said in the past, and as we've seen in the past, Humble, if he's able to get any sort of, success, if he's able to get any sort of momentum, he is the type of man to try and run away with it. But this is going to be difficult. If the first round is going like this, you got to wonder what the second and third will be like for a man that historically gets better as those rounds go on.
Yeah, and if you're M-Town's finest as well, you've got to take confidence from this because you've got Trixie to kind of come out with a different game plan than usually would. Trixie usually stands with people, puts his hands on them, breaks them down, and then slowly starts to accelerate, and that's what he looks like he's doing now. But if you're M-Town, you've got to think, why did he come out and grapple me? Why did he come out there? Is he scared of my stand-up? You've got to take some sort of confidence out of him doing that, even if he had success with it, because maybe he doesn't want them hands, maybe he knows something about it from a training period, but there's got to be something you've got to take out.
Yeah, exactly right, bro. Exactly right. A couple of double jabs, a lot of switches of stances. Nice uppercut landed for M-Town's finest. Starting to get a couple of shots bled through on the chin of Trixie. He's looking very good with Rob Font so far. Seems to be answering back in an educated way, Humble. You know, rather than kind of letting the early adversity really weigh down on him.
Yeah, he's got to do that. He can't let Trixie run away with the fight. He's got to pick him apart as well. When he comes in, you've got to catch him. When he starts to try to make you reset, you've got to kind of make him think. And that's what M-Town's Founders is really good at. You can see him mixing up his combinations so far. One other thing Trixie does well, and he creeps a lot of damage into that block. He uses that jab fantastically, and then he gets out of the way. And that's where he scores his points. The basics, the fundamentals of boxing. The fundamentals of breaking your opponent down with a lead weapon. That's exactly what he does, and he does it superbly.
Well, one of the things I'm noticing here as well is that M-Town's finest is normally a man that uses a little bit more head movement, some pivots in normally mixed into his game as well, but seems to maybe get a little bit frozen with the movement and the combinations coming his way from the champion at the moment. You can see a lot of it starting to get through, the timing of it. I just feel like Trixie gets you in a whirlwind of sort of chaos, and kind of a lot of people struggle to get back out of that, Humble. And that might be what we're seeing in the first round, although, of course, adjustments definitely can be made.
No, adjustments 100% can be made, but it depends if he's got someone in his ear talking to him or he can make those himself. Because Trixie also adjusts. That's the problem. He also adjusts. He could come out and take him down again, which I was expecting, but so was Motown's finest as he catches him right there. The game plan from Trixie seems to be to offset his opponent's rhythm, offset him, and Motown's finest might be realising that right now. You can't go at the same speed as him. You can't keep doing this as he gets caught right there, and Trixie's going to try and end his opponent. This could be it, Cyrus.
There is no man that is better at smelling blood and closing out the fight than the current and reigning champion, BFAP Trixie, and still here this evening takes this step into the finals. My God, does that man know how to put on a show? He can get the job done no matter where the fight goes, and takes out a dangerous opponent in M-Town's finest to find himself up against a familiar foe in FSK's very own Fadinator there, Humble. My God.
Fadinator versus Trixie. We got it again.
What are the chances, bro? What are the chances?
We could never book this fight for a while because Trixie's fought Fadinator so many times. And Trixie, let's be real, Trixie's dominated those fights. Well, not dominated, but he's won his domination in the record rankings is that he's beat Fadinator every time he's played him in prime time. Let us tell that story because Fadinator was within an inch, with one shot from winning the belt last time he was around. He literally made so many adjustments in that fight, but just fell short. And these guys, whoever wins this is going to go 3-0 into the new season as champion, and £20 richer as well. So there's a bit of prize money to be there as well, to be had. But I want to point out two things, Cyrus. One of them is Fadinator's had a warm-up. He's had 3 warm-ups essentially, and so has Trixie. But is the warm-up going to benefit Fadinator into kind of getting ready for that fight? Because usually you go in cold, right? You go in maybe with some spars, but yeah, then you 3 or 4 fights beforehand, you've got to warm up, you've got to get ready, and you've got to be waiting with cold hands, thinking about what you're going to be doing. Those fights should help both guys going. We're going to get an absolute killer of a fight right now. A classic.
Bro, like we had a little bit of a chat off air leading into this one there, Humble, with yourself, yep. Doc, a couple of the other guys as well, and obviously, as we said, you know, this would have been a tough one to make, but we said, could you imagine they make it through? Could you imagine that they make it through to the finals and they find themselves running it back for, I think, the 4th or the 5th time at this stage? And I just want to echo your point very briefly before we get into this one. I'm getting a message from the back. It is 5 times. This is the 5th time that they are competing. And I want to, just to kind of echo your point. The fights that they had, Humble, it wasn't like he was blown out of the water 4 times in a row. They were so competitive. Fadinator was ahead and had opportunities to win on multiple occasions. this is one heck of a main event for this for the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Couldn't have wrote it any better, bro.
They couldn't have wrote it any better, and it's just an absolute chaos of a coincidence. And, you know, both guys are determined. Both guys won it. Fadinate is one of the most determined human beings I've seen on this game. He will not quit. Every single time he loses to Trixie, he messages us back. He messages us asking us for the fight again, even though it doesn't make sense. We're trying to, like, Fadinate's going, oh, how many people have I got to beat? How many people have I got to beat to get back to him? Because Fadinate wants to win. And tonight he could do it. That's the crazy part. Tonight could be the passing of the torch from Trixie to Fadinate. Fadinate could go on this season and do a fantastic job of winning. But we're about to see the first and the last Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier of tonight, and it's in the main event. It's only fitting, really. These two journey of these two characters and the fights they've had has been sensational, and we're gonna see it again. I cannot wait for this to start. It's a 5-round fight. Of course, they can pick whoever they want. The title fight. 3-0 in the season. They start off as the leader, and they're essentially the pinnacle of the Xbox division for primetime. They are our superstars. They are our guys who are doing it. So great job from these guys to get to where they are, and they're both fighting for a prize right now.
Definitely, brother. I just want to throw this out there. Make sure to get those bets in. This is the main event of the evening. You have watched these guys step after step get all the way through to this stage. You've got 35 seconds left remaining to get your votes in. Show us who you're supporting. Is it going to be FSK Fadinator, the contender from hell, the betting line favorite up until this stage, or the current reigning champion in BFAP Trixie?
By 2-1. He essentially has 21 of the vote, and Fadinator has 12. He's almost got 10. He's got 9 votes ahead of the champion, which is insane considering he's beat him every time they've played. So, did you see the amount of support for Fadinator, the amount of people willing him on to beat Trixie for this time this season is incredible. And we're about to see it right now, Cyrus. Here we fucking go.
Starting out quickly, brother. Wouldn't expect anything less. Fadinator pushing the pace, trying to get those hands of Conor McGregor to land some damage early. The champion, of course, staying reserved, engaging in some grappling, which is an incredibly smart move early on, especially. Try to take some of that pop out of the punch of Conor McGregor.
Yeah, definitely. And look at the work from Fadinator. He's using a bit more movement than he usually makes. He's catching him there. Beautiful counter. And I'm noticing some of the differences in the way Fadinator's usually playing. He's usually a bit more aggressive than this, and he's using a counter striking approach at the moment, maybe trying to avoid those kicks that we were talking about the other day, because we did notice that. Doc did point that out as a great observation. Every time Trixie starts to kick the legs out of Fadinator starts to lose some of the momentum of his fight. He's checked one right there, but got one back.
Yeah, and he's trying to answer back with kicks as well, which is also, it's definitely something he seems to have acknowledged, or him and his corner have kind of maybe highlighted going into this bout. And you could very well be right. It could be the adjustment that's necessary to get his hand risen for the first time in this matchup. The Trixie's looking pretty, the champion Trixie is looking pretty clean, though. He is staying defensively cognizant over the course of these opening couple of minutes and seems to not be getting derailed by any of the attempts or trickery coming his way from Fadinator.
Yeah, this is a slow start for these two, but it's not. There's a lot going on within the movement, within the chess game that is this game, and these two are just trying to find a footing. But great work so far from Fadinator. He's really doing a good job checking those leg kicks, and the leg damage is starting to pay a dividend for him, and that could stop that game coming from Trixie, which lets Fadinator get into the pocket and land those beautiful combinations he's known for.
Yeah, exactly right. And one thing I've noticed from Trixie in the past is sometimes he doesn't look to check those kicks. He actually kind of goes the Anthony Smith route, and actually looks to exchange anytime his opponent goes for one of those kicks. And that sometimes plays to his advantage, sometimes not so much. I will be interested to see if he decides to continue to implement that, as he's kind of gone to it once or twice already in this first round.
Beautiful array of combinations so far from both guys. I like the movement. They're almost in and out, and then they just meet every couple of seconds right in the center and go, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And they both kind of throw at the same time, or one combos the counters the other, but it's nothing too much. It's just a case of their defense is so high, and both guys are going, they're just both chipping away and trying to find moments and elements that they're not defending and capitalize on it.
Yeah, when people say, you know, a battle of inches or millimeters, this is exactly what these two go through every single time they step foot in this octagon and share the cage together. As you can see, just a complete plethora of techniques on display. But the combination from Trixie...
Trixie elbow comes back from Fadinator. Fadinator landing back and saying, I'm not giving you that inch that you're doing, but I Fadinator was doing so well in that round, and Trixie does what he always does. He unloads onto Fadinator, and Fadinator, all that work he did leading up to that point means nothing because of that rock, Cyrus. Look at the stats on that.
Yeah, and this is one of the things, that's that sort of championship mindset that you cannot teach. Trixie just has the ability to change tempo on his opponents, change directions, techniques, and styles on his whim. And like I said, he's an intuitive fighter, so I know Trixie doesn't really, he's not sitting there going, I need to do this or I need to do that. He just does what feels right, and more often than not, that is right.
Yeah, definitely, and some people can fight like that and some people can't. The Trixie's obviously incredibly reactive, and he knows how to. He's very smart with his game plan and the fight IQ that he's got, and that's something that you've got to be impressed with. And now using the movement as well, because Fadinator is starting to turn it up, and with that leg damage, he's starting to press his opponent. He's getting a reaction from Trixie as he starts to get caught. Fadinator changing it up, making those necessary adjustments, Cyrus.
Yeah, and he's actually in the better situation in terms of stamina right now, and that matters up against Conor McGregor. My God!
Fadinator throws an 8-piece. Oh my God, this could be it right now. Fadinator is struggling to finish his opponent, but what a load of damage he does, and Trixie fires back right now. Is it Trixie's time to say, nope, my turn?
Yeah, I mean, look, don't blink is all I really have to say when these two step foot in this octagon. As you see, the action is just never ending, and especially when one of them gets rocked, you just see a complete momentum shift in how quickly these guys are willing to engage in terms of these kind of in-close combinations.
Every time I think that Fadinator is going to win, Trixie starts to win. Every time I think Trixie's starting to win, Fadinator starts to win. This is why this fight is so good. You never know what's going to happen. There's so many twists and turns to this one, where at the moment Fadinator looks determined. He looks to land the bigger combinations, and Trixie needs to change it up. He needs to land something because it's always catching him, and he's at the end of his block right now, Cyrus. This is a great round, and he comes back from Trixie. This could be, he touches his head. Oh my God, they're at it again, Cyrus. They're giving us another classic.
And this is the fine line that Fadinator plays. He likes to pour on the pressure. He likes to push it on his opponents, and that gets him a lot of success. But Trixie just seems to find the way to land that one big shot every time, Humble. Every time, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Look at this work, though, from Fadinator. And I'd like to see Fadinator start to be a bit more relaxed. He's chasing his opponent. He's hunting him down. Oh, great work for the champion right there. He changes it up. He's got to be worried with that head health, especially against the Conor McGregor. But like I was saying right there, I'd like to see Fadinator go back to that first round when he was doing incredibly well on the outside. But Trixie landing on that ground and pound now. This is crazy.
I don't know. I don't know what happens. I don't know if my heart can take another one of these fights after this, quite honestly, man. I'm getting old. And this stuff takes years off you. It's just, there's so much going on, bro. The anticipation.
Oh, what good work right there from Trixie to get the ground and pound. Great work. He's only got 20 seconds left, and Fad knows that he doesn't want to take too much damage on the floor. He was doing it fantastically. Are we going to see some more adjustments from Trixie as he gets 8 seconds left of ground and pound? Nice work from Fad though, showing he's veteran savvy and dodging some of those major strikes coming through at his face.
My God, brother. My God.
It's too much. Too much. These two can't fight. We should just put these on every card.
Honestly, bro, my heart couldn't take it. My heart couldn't take it. The ups and the downs, the backs and the forth between these two are...
Oh, blinking from both guys.
I know, look, it's on the knife's edge.
And he's not backing up now. Trixie's not giving an inch back, and he's starting to meet fire with fire, as we talked about earlier on. He has to, because that head health is going down. And Fadinator again. Is this going to be a Trixie? He goes to jump, gets up, kick to the face, which nearly causes a stun itself. Incredible. It's a great work from Fadinator. He's firing back. He's not giving up. But Trixie saying, hell no, this is my champion. This is exactly how it ended before, with the overhand from hell. Trixie does it and remains champion of the Xbox Grand Prix. Incredible, Cyrus.
My God, brother. Honestly, I am speechless. Another epic battle for the history books. Trixie able to get the job done once again. That is, maybe the last kind of chapter in their kind of fighting careers for quite some time. As entertaining as those bouts are, I mean, Trixie's just he always finds a way, Humble. He just seems to have the number of Fad Nature, no matter how he comes out, no matter how well he does. Somehow Trixie turns that corner. He turns the corner every time.
Oh my days, I can't believe that fight again. It looks like it was Fadinator in the second round. Trixie made one slight adjustment. He was backing up a lot, and even though he landed a big combination at the end, he decided to meet fire with fire. He decided to come out, and it seems to do this a lot to Fadinator as well. He mixes up the way he fights in each round, and when he did it, Fadinator wasn't quite ready for it. He didn't know how to adjust to it, and ends up getting finished again. But what a rally from Fadinator to win. It burns my heart that Fadinator's lost. I feel for him so much. I know Trixie's so happy, and all of his fans and everybody there. The amount of support Fadinator's had, the type of character he doesn't step a foot long. He's a lovely guy. He's actually applied to be staff recently as well. He'd be fantastic on our team. You know, an incredible player and an asset. But Trixie remains the champion. If you send me over your PayPal, I'll DM you. I'll get you some £20 worth of cash. So well done, Trixie.
Hell yes, brother, hell yes. That was a phenomenal event start to finish. We appreciate each and every one of you for coming through and delivering as we've come to expect, Humble. Let's be straight. We wouldn't expect anything less from these guys. They're savages every single time they step in that cage, and it's been a pleasure to call these fights. So, from fight nights to main cards or pay-per-views, as we call them on Saturdays, to these Grand Prix. It's just sensational the way that these bouts go, and each and every kind of week it keeps us, highly anticipating those weekends and getting back into calling another weekend of fights.
100%, and that's what we want from our chat. Our community is built on competitive play that we really enjoy, and these guys put a lot of work in, and we enjoy commentating as a whole. But we want it to be entertaining for the people that are watching at home. And this season's just gonna have a load of surprises, a load of bangers, a load of different way the rankings work. We never even talked about the rankings because the title fight gets more points. If you got into the next competition, you got a few more points, and that's gonna set out the rankings. And we also go into this season with a PlayStation versus Xbox pound for pound list, which is going to be insane to watch happen throughout the season, because these guys are now not only competing against each other, they're competing against the opposite console in our rankings. So that's going to be crazy. And tomorrow, Cyrus, how can we forget tomorrow? We have the primetime PlayStation Grand Prix, and I'm in it, so it's going to be fantastic. And whatever lineup we've got, though, it's insane.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that Grand Prix tomorrow. If tonight is anything to go by, it's going to be another sensational night of fights. Every single competitor lives up and delivers, anytime they're given the opportunity to fight on one of these broadcasted events. Once again, I just want to let you guys know that, of course, going forward from this, we will be moving towards Fridays and Saturdays for our live cards. Live cards only going forward. Anybody can still compete, of course. You will have the opportunity to fight on an unaired portion until you earn your right, much like these guys have here this evening, to get onto the aired side of the card and really put on some top-level performances like we've come to know and love out here, Humble. With all of that being said, though, we are going to be pushing the love forward into the community, making sure to hit the raid. Make sure to stick about for that. Hit the join button and show some love. Could make somebody's night. We appreciate all the support that you do with Primetime MMA, and we'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That's 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, with a lot more action from the PlayStation side of the bracket.
Bye.